could spike the rain chances. We'll be watching. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray to Publix.
1819 News.
The mayor of Montgomery, Stephen Reed, has made a verbal jab at Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth for comments made last week. Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth pointed out that Mayor Reed was touting the 30% drop in crime in the capital city without giving credit to the Metro Area Crime Suppression Units, or MACs, that were started up just last year as a solution for the crime problem that was out of control in Montgomery. Mayor Reed took to social media to say he's focused on results and not worried about giving credit, and said that if Ainsworth did the same, it would be a safer and more prosperous state. Meanwhile, Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall says definitively that the MAX units were developed as a result of citizens in Montgomery reaching out for help, not a result of city officials or local police seeking to solve the crime problem. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you, to have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
A two-vehicle crash in Greene County has resulted in 5 fatalities. 2 of those fatalities were a 6-year-old and 8-year-old child. The driver of one of the vehicles was a man from Mississippi, 45-year-old Stephen Keel. His pickup truck collided head-on with another vehicle, and both of those vehicles caught fire. The driver and passenger in the other vehicle are both from Aubrey, Texas. The president and CEO of the Southern Poverty Law Center, Margaret Huang, has resigned from her position. Huang cited the need to prioritize family life as the reasons for this decision. She became the CEO back in 2020. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing, and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Progressive knows we all crave validation.
Girl, you are not 37.
I would have guessed 27.
You guys are too sweet.
Sure. Dewy skin. Terrific.
Is something wrong, Ned?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks my 10th anniversary without a car accident or even a speeding ticket? But somehow, tonight's all about your skincare. Wow.
With Snapshot from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Ugh. Kitchen ants. Runaway roaches. A spider. A spider. A spider! Relax. Just use Zevo. Zevo insect killer sprays use a powerful blend of mint and rosemary to eliminate those pests and up to 20 other bug types. Plus, Zevo is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Just spray the bugs and wipe them away. Zevo. People friendly, bug deadly.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
this is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink social Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. Beautiful day outside if you like heat and humidity. And of course, we'll get into the bloody weekend here in Montgomery. Pretty awful stuff. And I think there's more going on than just reported immediately in the news. A pretty awful violence here in the city over the weekend. Also, rumors that Ghislaine Maxwell is willing to testify before Congress, wants to tell her entire story. Trump announces 100% tariffs on Russia if no peace deal made within the next 50 days, sitting with the Secretary General of NATO. Biden gives a confession that was supposed to be a defense of his Autopen use. It made it just a whole lot worse. Claims he made every decision, but it was all just orally. A military jet mysteriously collides with a UFO, which is, we'll get into that in detail. Elon's AI company, Grok, just scored a $200 million deal with the Pentagon, so Grok has gone to the government. And, of course, there's a new competitor. I know everybody's been wondering about this. To Uncrustables. So for all you children and stoners out there, you might have a new option. Or maybe you're just a fat boy who likes chilled PB&J sandwiches with no crust. But to kick off the show today, we got a full studio, but I want to begin with he's the auditor for the great state of Alabama, and he is, of course, candidate to be the next Secretary of State here in Alabama. Andrew Sorrell joins us. How you doing today, sir?
Joey, I'm doing great, and you teased your show so well. You've got me hooked. I feel like I got to spend the next 3 hours listening to you now, just because all those topics you mentioned. How do you even have that many things to talk about in one day? You're not going to be able to fit all that in 3 hours.
Well, I mean, sometimes I tease a thing and forget to bring it up. So just listen to see if I can actually pull it off. But first off, how's the campaign going, traveling around the state, seeing folks?
Boy, it's going very well, and I think I've been to 55 Alabama counties now and done at least one campaign event. So I've only got 12 left, and one of those 12 is Madison County, and I'll be there Saturday morning speaking to the men's club breakfast. You may remember that was started 30, 40 years ago by Albert Peters, who's now deceased, but Albert was a good friend of mine. He lived to be about 90. He's bylaws chairman of the Alabama Republican Party for 30 or 40 years. I actually took his place. I'm now the bylaws chairman. It was intimidating being bylaws chair when he was still alive and serving on the committee. And I thought, he wrote all of these bylaws, and now I'm the bylaws chairman. But anyway, he started that men's club, and I'm speaking there Saturday morning, so that'll be county number 56. On the fundraising front, things are going very well. In fact, we are setting records. We're doubling the pace of the last three successful Secretary of State campaigns. That would be Merrill in 14 and 18 and Wes Allen in 2022. If you look at their first two reports, they raised about $60,000 total on their first two reports. We raised $114,000 on our first two reports. And I'll note that my May report was only 11 days because the fundraising window didn't open until May 19th. So in just 43 days, we raised $114,000. So it's an unprecedented pace for fundraising. And look, it's unfortunate that you have to have money in politics, but it is what it is. A lot of voters don't take the time to research the candidates thoroughly, so you've got to have money to get your message out there, put it in front of them so they know who the right person to vote for is. But the donations also just show that you have a base of support. The donor base in this state is excited about me. They're excited about my platform. They're excited about me because they know that I've won two races I wasn't supposed to win, including flipping a seat that was Democrat 150 years up in House District 3, said to be the unwinnable seat in Alabama. I won the seat in 2018. As a 32-year-old, it's been red ever since. My successor in that seat, the former mayor of Tuscumbia, and it's even more was when I was able to flip it, got 52% there. But they're also excited because I have a voting record. They know what Andrew Sorrell is going to do. I'm actually going to do the things I say I'm going to do. Now, when I arrived in Montgomery, not everyone there loved the way I voted. In fact, a lot of them didn't love the way I voted. Montgomery insiders and special interests were not fans of the way I voted oftentimes. But nobody was surprised by it, because I was transparent on the campaign trail. I said exactly what I was going to do. I'm going to vote against bills that grow the size and scope of government. I'm going to vote against bills that infringe liberties and freedoms. And that's what I did. And nobody was surprised by that, and it earned me the most conservative legislator in Alabama ranking 3 out of the 4 years that I was there. Then I turned around and ran for state auditor, a race, again, I wasn't supposed to win. I've done a good job as state auditor. Even my political enemies, so to speak, would admit Sorrell's doing a really good job running the state auditor's office. Nobody complains about the job that we're doing there. So when I say that I'm going to be serious about election integrity, when I walk through my plan to fix Alabama elections, the donors know that I'm actually going to do the things that I say that I'm going to do. And that's why I think they're adding a 0 to their check for me.
Well, and it doesn't hurt that you added that watermark to your push cards, to the cards you're handing out. It's like we're already doing it on the campaign. We're going to do it for our ballots as well.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. Those watermarks are so important. You know, my friend Angela Shepard over in Lee County photocopied her absentee ballot and took it to a public ballot testing there in 2022, ran the photocopies through the machine, and to everyone's horror, the machine, the tabulator, the DS200 tabulators counted all 8 of her photocopied ballots. It's inexcusable, and it's so easy to fix. We just need to do what Tennessee and Georgia have done, which is watermark their ballots. So you ought to be able to look at a ballot and immediately tell if it's a real or a fake ballot. And just like you can look at a $20 bill and hold it up to the light and see if it's real or fake, we could do the same thing for our ballots. That was an idea I came up with 9 months ago, and I've been campaigning all over the state on it. So I appreciate you mentioning that.
Now, I've been saying, I was talking to Jeff Poor last week on his show and my show, that who's going to jump in against you? I mean, you are a fundraising juggernaut. I've sensed that you're the real deal since I first spoke to you, and just watching you, as you just laid out a little bit, go through Alabama politics. You're the real deal. So I'm wondering who wants to take this guy on. Looks like you now have an opponent, Caroline Dobson, who I got to know during the congressional cycle, the last one we just had. She, of course, was the Republican nominee, lost to Shamari Figures, folks, in the brand new Alabama District 2. She is now running for Secretary of State. And you have a bit of a challenge you want to put out there to Caroline publicly as this campaign goes forward, right?
Well, I do, and I think this is the time to do it. It's right at the beginning of the campaign. She just announced. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and just set the tone for this campaign. And what I'm proposing publicly is that she join me in signing a clean campaign pledge. So I think as Alabama's chief elections officer, it's important that the next Secretary of State set a moral example for other candidates and campaigns to follow. And in this clean campaign pledge, I'm simply proposing that we not engage in any negative campaigning against each other or condone attacks from outside groups and individuals that are negative. In essence, it embraces Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, which is, thou shalt not speak ill of a fellow Republican. And I just think that we should be debating policy. And, you know, what are we going to do to fix elections? What are we going to do to fix business services? You know, the other 1,000 duties assigned to the Office of Secretary of State. But the points in the campaign pledge, which if you want to look at it, it's up on all of my socials. The points in the campaign pledge are, number one, the candidates understand that running to become Alabama's chief elections officer obliges them to conduct a positive campaign that sets an example for others to follow. Number two, the candidates will vigorously debate policy issues, but will not engage in negative attacks on their opponent. Number three, the candidates will not allow, condone, or endorse negative attacks on their behalf by third-party groups or opponents. And number four, the candidates will encourage all their supporters to engage in positive campaigning and avoid negative tactics. So I'm pitching the ball into Caroline's court. I hope she will accept my request to engage in a civil and friendly campaign that we can all be proud of, regardless of who wins. We've seen a lot of discord, division, deceit, just dirty tricks by the Democrats on the national level. And I don't think those kind of attacks and tactics have any place in the Alabama Republican Party, where we pride ourselves on being Christian conservatives. And Joey, you can ask all of my former opponents, which I've had 7 or 8 former opponents between my 2 races, including Democrats and Libertarians. Ask them, did Andrew Sorrell engage in a dirty, sleazy, nasty, mudslinging campaign? And the answer is no. And they'll tell you that honestly. I don't run negative campaigns. And I've already signed this pledge. It's uploaded to my socials. I texted it to Caroline Dobson this morning and asked for her to join me in signing it. And I sent out a press release about it. So it'll be interesting to see how she responds. Hopefully she chooses to go ahead and sign on to this. But I will note one other important thing about this pledge. It becomes active upon both of us signing it.
Okay.
In other words, I will not fight with one hand tied behind my back. And that's the Donald Trump approach. You may remember that in 2020, you know, Republicans were very much saying, well, we don't believe in early voting. We believe in election day, not election month. So Republicans didn't make any kind of push to get early votes in all of these swing states. And then, you know, something have a rainstorm, a tornado, or whatever happens on election day, and Republicans don't get to go vote, and the Democrats win. And Trump said, no, we're not doing that. We're not fighting with one hand tied behind our back. We're going to fight with the rules as they are now. And when we win, then we will set about to change the rules. But In the meantime, we've got to fight the way the Democrats do to win. And Republicans made a huge push for early votings, and it really paid off in states like Nevada, where Republicans were significantly outperforming where they were in 2020 in terms of early vote, and it translated into a win. So all that to say, I don't engage in negative campaigning, never have, and I'm pledging not to again, but I want Caroline to join me in that, and I'm not going to fight with one hand tied behind my back. I will defend myself if I'm attacked.
Well, I like this very much. That all makes a great deal of sense to me. I'm looking at it now, folks. You can go to Andrew Sorrell for Secretary of State on Facebook, or the Book of Faces, as I like to call it. Again, that's Andrew Sorrell for Secretary of State. And folks are out there listening and want to help you, volunteer, donate, add to that campaign fundraising you've got going on strong already. How can they do so?
They can do that all through my website, andrewsorrell.com. Sorrell is Sorrell. And I welcome them to follow me on socials. I'm on Twitter at auditor-Sorrell. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn now. We're all over all the socials. We routinely post good content. So I encourage people to like my campaign page and follow along. And you can go there and view the pledge and leave a comment on it. You know, I asked for comments and feedback on the pledge, and it's going to be interesting to see what people say.
Well, and we will see what Caroline Dobson and her camp decide if they respond at all. I think it's a great idea. I would like to see both signatures on this thing. Well, I appreciate it, Andrew, and for too long, especially when you're in town, love to have you in the studio again.
Thanks so much, Joey. Look forward to doing that again with you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Bye.
Again, that's Andrew Sorrell, running for Secretary of State, the current auditor, and I generally like this idea. Eddie Bader and Troy Carrico in the studio with me. What do y'all make of that public challenge just put out there?
I think that, first of all, the Trey compadre is right again. It's been some time since we've been together.
It has been.
It really has been.
Yeah, it actually has.
Yeah,
Right.
Glad to see everyone. Yeah, I think Andrew's he's a solid individual. The Admiral has had a lot of contact with him, and I've indirectly had in contact with him. And he's principled. I think that he is very, very sincere when he says what he says and what he means. But he also leaves the door open for the potentiality of whatever might be thrown at him to fight. So
yeah, no, and we'll see. I would have an open door policy. We've had, how many times did we have Caroline Dobson on the program?
Quite a few times.
Yeah. And so she's always welcome here. Yeah. But I would love to see how Caroline and her campaign respond to this public challenge. I think it's a great thing. Often in these election cycles, the worst part of it, especially local, even when they're statewide, is how nasty it gets. You get to know these folks, and well, I'll just be blunt. I remember off air talking to Mike Durant.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not trying to be like a big boy or anything. I was just going, "Are you ready?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I got thick skin. I'm ready." I'm like, "Are you ready? You're sure?" Because it can get nasty. So if we could have a clean campaign, that would be fantastic. I think this is going to be one of the more competitive ones on the statewide ballot. That in that Senate race, who knows who else is going to jump in?
It's funny, right? Because first of all, if someone tells you they got thick skin, it doesn't mean they don't have thick skin.
Exactly.
Right? If they declare, "Hey,
exactly.
tell me what you really feel. Does this look good on me?"
Yeah.
And they're not ready for.
They're not ready.
They're not in receive mode.
Just
Anyways,
make my butt look big.
To answer to piggyback off what you said, I had a few people out at the house last night, Admiral included, and things change so rapidly in who's running for what, and we're just one incident away from someone not running because of this or that. And I think still very early to tell, but the Senate race is going to shape out to be something very interesting. So
it should be. And I asked the Admiral straight up before I went on vacation. It didn't seem like he's looking to run for anything.
Well,
who knows?
Let's just say that without divulging too much, like I said, things change.
Things change.
That's all I'm going to say. So, yeah.
Well, no, I know a lot of people want him to run for something. Yeah. So we shall see there. How you doing today, Eddie? Busy?
Yeah, a little bit going on. Probably took more of the weekend off than I should have had some friends stop by.
Oh, you actually took the weekend off.
Part of it, yeah, as much as I could. Yeah, but it was good. It's good to see some great friends. Reminded how old I am. I can't stay up till 2 a.m. and drink in the morning. Expect to get up at 6.
No,
just move. It doesn't work that way.
It does not work that way.
It doesn't work that way. But it was great seeing some really good friends.
So, are we all satisfied with the big response by Trump over the weekend to put the Epstein stuff behind us? And is everybody happy with that at this point?
Doubling down on somebody going to follow on the sword.
Yeah. Well, and it didn't help that Charlie Kirk had his big turning point conference a lot of big speakers.
Yep.
And it is a polarizing issue. In particular, people like Tucker Carlson are really, really polarizing at this moment within the Trump base. You got to wonder, though, like, I generally believe that Epstein was an intelligence asset from just basic information that's out there, that he was the main financier for, like, the guy whose name was Anand Khashoggi for the Iran-Contra affair. And he's the money guy there at a very young age. He's been around for a while. I think people are jumping the gun when they're like, well, I know for a fact it's Mossad, or I know for a fact
that's premature.
It very well could be that he actually was essentially rubbing elbows with all of them.
Yeah,
all of the
my
major
assumption is he's a
intelligence
contractor.
agencies. I mean,
he's going where the business is at.
I agree. I think that's, but like many things, when you fail to get definitive information from the government on a major hot topic, people fill in the blanks.
Sure.
People will fill in the blanks in the absence. And I think that's kind of what's happened. There is, like you said, I agree, Jerry. He had a lot of contacts, but he wasn't being run as a Mossad asset or as a CIA asset or anything like that, I don't think.
Well, and is it possible in the world, I was getting into this last week, in your covert operations world, that you get people to go rogue? Like they,
absolutely,
yeah, they kind of have that umbrella of they're an operator in that world, but then they put a little on the side for themselves. Things go too far.
Sure.
And it's possible. I mean, here's the deal. Money is the motivator, right? So that's I'm saying he touched a lot of money, but you're right. Being rogue, I think there's much more ado about nothing on this, in my opinion, but you know.
Well, and also I've seen folks come out, and especially when it's never somebody direct, it's never like the CIA director or, but like Naftali Bennett, very upset with people saying, oh, Mossad had something to do with this. People point out, well, look at how many times people met with Epstein, like, what is it? Olmer, one of the prime ministers, met with him many times. And when they say straight up, CIA had nothing to do with this, Mossad had nothing to do with this, MI6 had nothing to do with this, nothing. I'm like, y'all's
all guilty parties had nothing to do with it.
Deception and being able to deny things.
Well, first of all, that's called human intelligence operations, and he would have a case handler, and it would not be anywhere near the rank of the director. It would be someone in the human bureau. I'm not saying. Here's the thing. I also think that Epstein liked ingratiating himself with his money with heavy hitters and movers, and I think there's a degree of that too. That they were, let's be honest, the reason Omer met with him from Israel, he was doing a lot of funding for a lot of projects for settlements in Israel. So
money man.
Yeah.
Well, and I always go back. It's from 5 years ago, podcast called The Portal. It's Eric Weinstein said he met with Epstein and initially got the heebie-jeebies that this guy, not that like the worst stuff was going on, but got the sense of like, he set the scene. It was this huge conference table draped with a massive American flag, and there's all these weird paintings where he's clearly like, there's definitely a camera behind that freaking thing. And then Weinstein is a finance guy, along with being a mathematical kind of guy, genius. I think at that time he was the managing partner for Teal Capital. So he knew his way around the financial world. And as Epstein was trying to make a deal with him about some of the finance, he's like, this guy's an actor. Like he didn't make all this money in the way normal people would make this money.
I agree.
He just got the sense that the word he uses, this guy's a construct. And the idea that he would have the biggest, most expensive place there in New York in Manhattan, that he has his own private island, that somehow he gets all this money, and you're kind of like, what? And then gets power of attorney over Wexler's.
Les Wexler out of Columbus. Yeah.
And so you got to go, well, how is this guy continually jumping, especially when in his early age, he's tied in with Iran-Contra and stuff. So it's like, there's something going on here. But what I find beyond just the deep dive and rehashing what's known for years about Epstein is the turnabout, the turn of face from the Trump administration, because this wouldn't be that big of a deal if they didn't campaign on it.
That's true.
But he did campaign on it. And so many of his surrogates talked about it.
On the regular. Yeah.
And it's also not even during the campaign. When Trump's in there, they did the whole, here's the first tranche, here are the binders, and all the people are out there holding up. And this is why when you look at that Charlie Kirk event, you see a lot of folks who are pissed off right now. And they don't they still are happy they voted for Trump, but they feel like they're being betrayed in a certain way. And that's just not a good look. It's being put out there, and it could be very well just more sizzle without any stake whatsoever, that you are going to see Ghislaine Maxwell possibly
Congress
testify or tell her story in some way. Yeah.
She
says she's ready to reveal truth of the pedophile client list, say insiders, so we know it's a real story, and it's from the Daily Mail, so we know this is all true what I'm about to read.
Okay.
But Maxwell is willing to speak in front of Congress about the Epstein files, sources tell the Daily Mail. She's 63, is the only person behind bars serving 20 years on child sex trafficking charges, despite the fact that Jeffrey Epstein allegedly controlled a web of underage girls. Additionally, Epstein's victims alleged they were passed around as toys to his wealthy friends and billionaire business associates who regularly visited his homes, including his private island. Now, a source said, despite the rumors, Maxwell was never offered any kind of plea deal. She would be more than happy to sit before Congress and tell her story. No one from the government has ever asked her to share what she knows. She remains the only person to be jailed in connection to Epstein, and she would welcome the chance to tell the American public the truth. What the truth is remains to be seen. Maxwell was convicted in 2022 over a role in a scheme to sexually exploit and abuse multiple minor girls with Epstein over the course of a decade. So, I mean, if that was allowed, and it would be the Republican leadership would have to allow it.
Yeah.
Talk about a circus. This would be something for the history book.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll ever allow something like that. But that would be...
will she make it?
Well, yeah. That's the other question you have to have. Sometimes the Babylon Bee
they got great.
Oh, it just cracks me up so much. Let me see if I can find this real quick. They put this out today. Yeah, I'm looking at it, and it's the photo is even funnier, but just the headline. FBI hires top-rated Italian bodyguard Luigi Clintonelli to protect Ghislaine.
There we go.
Luigi Clintonelli, and it's Hillary with a stupid Mario mustache on her in the picture. Oh, God. Whatever is true in this, and I'm happy to go, I don't know. I think most folks are over their skis and thinking they do know exactly. It's still the sense of like, y'all said you're going to take on the deep state. Y'all said you're going to release all this stuff. Y'all said. And then it's just like, how dare you even talk about this? Why are you still talking about this? And which just makes people want to talk about it even more. It's this whole Streisand effect.
You could park it right next to the, hey, we're going to release the UAP UFO stuff here.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
But Big Nothing Burger. Big Nothing Burger, right? Big Nothing Burger.
It was military and it was drones. It was just drones. And you brought to my attention, Troy, something on that thread.
Yeah.
This was posted about 24 hours ago. Military jet's mysterious collision raises questions about UFOs in U.S. airspace. Been here all along. I'm reading this from the New York Post, republished from Fox News. Declassified documents revealing a U.S. military aircraft was previously struck by an unknown flying object is raising eyebrows, as experts point to other unexplainable sightings suggesting otherworldly technology flying within the country's airspace. The incident occurred in January 2023 after an unidentified object collided with the left side of an F-16 Viper jet participating in training exercises in Arizona. This is according to an Air Force spokesman. The flying object struck the clear canopy at the top of the aircraft.
Yep. Cockpit and canopy.
And was spotted by an instructor pilot sitting in the rear of the plane. An initial investigation determined no damage was done to the nearly $70 million jet, with officials ruling against a possible bird strike. That'd be one heck of a bird. Especially if the bird survived.
Yeah.
Authorities ultimately determined the aircraft was struck by a drone, but the location and operator of the device have yet to be determined. The incident was the first of 4 encounters with unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UAP, that were reported a day later, according to the FAA. According to military personnel I personally met with, there were objects 200 miles off the East Coast that were extensively loitering and had no visible means of propulsion. James Fox, a director specializing in films about UFO activity, told Fox News Digital. So a report from 2023 about an actual impact with a UAP doesn't really surprise me.
I spoke to Lou about it this morning.
What did he say?
like he always says, everything you think that's going on is going on, and even more.
And more so.
Yeah. But maybe we need to have him back on. There's been some new developments and stuff. So
Yeah, the concerning collision comes as the DoD reported 757 incidents involving UAPs from May 1st, 2023 to June 1st, 2024. That's just a year.
Yep.
Over 750 in just a year. Of those encounters, 708 occurred in the air, with only 49 instances marked as case closed by officials. Additionally, the department received 18 reports regarding UAP incidents near nuclear infrastructure, launch sites, and weapons. According to reports, none of these resolved cases substantiated advanced foreign adversarial capabilities or breakthrough aerospace technologies. I don't know. I keep going back and forth on what this is, and the more I think about it, like, when's the last time like a really kick butt aircraft was declassified?
Yeah.
I mean, the B-2s are pretty kick butt, but like we just saw them, but like a true.
Probably I would say this new Dark Star that the Air Force has finally released photos on, which is replacing the Blackbird SR-71, which your grandfather was heavily involved in. That's one, I think. But let's back up for a second. Here's the crazy thing. And Lou said it when he was on the show. America is the worst country about reporting any of it. Okay. You go to Russia, go to China, they've got reams and reams of information on it. And if you remember, Joey, the guy that was doing a compendium on all that, I think he was in Italy or in France, somehow mysteriously his entire data set was destroyed. You remember he was talking a little bit about that? It was like, because he was getting all this information compiled, and you got to wonder if there was an aggressor against, destroying that, So,
well, and the fact that, okay, it actually touched one of our jets. Something actually hit one of our jets. And when you hear collision in midair, you think, okay, something exploded. It was catastrophic, but it looks like it just kind of hit it, bounced off. And
he said there was an IP with him. That's important to note. That means that was a training flight. That means there was an instructor pilot in the rear, which is that aircraft, that Viper is a variation of the block Vipers that they use that Cinco flies and that, but it's still the same aircraft. So there was an individual witness. And oh, by the way, on a training flight, if you get struck by something, usually there's negative consequences that come with that, just because but apparently not. Happen. So we'll see.
We will see. And we do need to get Lou back on. And of course, we're talking about Lou Elizondo, folks. And been a while since we've chatted.
He's been heavily engaged, and he's got a lot of new stuff to discuss. If he wants to come on, if you want to get him on, we'll get him back on.
Well, we got to hit this break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you out with any and all your pest control needs. 'Tis the season to get rid of those mosquitoes.
Oh, big time.
They're bad now.
Yes,
they were last night on the porch. They were really bad.
And it's raining every day, so the moisture and the heat, that's mosquito heaven, man.
And what are the worst ones? I think the big ones you can kind of see coming.
Yeah, Skeeter hawks ain't so bad.
Tigers, little tigers, those black tigers.
Yeah, the little ones, man. And especially, I hate it. They go for my ankles all the time. And it's just like, that gum and thing itches for days. This is why I mostly stay inside. But if you actually enjoy sitting on the porch or enjoying, say, the pool in the backyard or whatever, they can come out, treat that property of yours, and it works, number one. It really works. Heck of a lot better than any other option. And it's not like you have to call them up again, hassle them, and you've got to remember yourself. No, they get on a regular schedule with you.
That's the way to do it.
I think they come out 7-8 times, something like that, at peak mosquito season to make sure your yard, your property is mosquito free. Of course, they can get you on a monthly subscription model for all sorts of pest control needs, from basic pest control to termite inspection, protection, things like tea and flick treatment. Tea and flick. I did it again.
Yeah.
Hoof and mouth.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Damn spoonerisms sneak up on me all the time. But you know what I meant. They can handle it all there at Pest Pro Services. So check them out today. If you want to learn more, you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces, or just call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and the team that Joey and the team sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Good afternoon, Blue Water Broadcasting listeners. It's DJ Fresh broadcasting live from Lassiter's Hardware, right off of US 31 in Hope Hall. It's our Paw It Forward donation drive. Here's the deal, folks. It's our donation drive for pet supplies. That's right. We're looking for pet supplies to benefit the Montgomery, Autauga, Elmore, and Prattville County Humane Society. So we're asking you to donate dog and cat food, some bedding, even toys and treats, cleaning supplies. Anything you might have extra that can help, and it would definitely be appreciated. You can go to the Blue Water Broadcasting website right now for more information, and of course, our other sponsored locations. Again, I'm here at Lassiter's Hardware, right off of US 31 in Hope Hall until 12:30 this afternoon. Broadcasting live for Blue Water Broadcasting.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
This is David Ernest from the Health and Wealth Show. We like to cut up and have fun, maybe poke a little fun at some politicians. But we don't take ourselves too seriously. One thing we do take seriously is your personal finances and your plans for retirement. You can tell by listening, we're a little different. Yeah, we like to have a good time on the radio, but we're dead serious about your financial future and helping you achieve your goals. At Ernest Financial, we're committed to giving you the attention you need. We don't treat you like a number. You're way more important to us. At Ernest Financial, it's about helping you today and preparing you for tomorrow. People call us who are on the verge of retirement, and they know they need a plan for the future. No matter where you are in life, Ernest Financial will help guide your every step towards retirement. Give us a call and let us show you what our individual customer attention can do for your future.
Concerned about your retirement? Call David Ernest toll-free at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Today and tomorrow will be the hottest days of the year so far. So we'll stay sunny and hot today and tomorrow with a high in the upper 90s. And the heat index may exceed the 105 danger range both days. Any showers and storms will be very isolated in nature today and tomorrow. But by late Wednesday into Thursday, a disturbance in the Gulf could spike the rain chances. We'll be watching. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASE loan payment from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. YourASECreditUnion.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASE.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Death to America! Except for Joey.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. Heroes Joey Clark. Eddie Bader and Troy Carrico here in the studio today. And next hour, I want to get into what was a very bloody weekend indeed here in Montgomery.
Dude.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, say the least. Even for Montgomery.
Like, and no gunshot should happen necessarily. Well, not some self-defense is warranted. By the way, when I looked into like the discrepancy between all the publicly reported stuff at local media level and then the FBI database level, one of the big differences is that after you investigate it and stuff, you go, oh, that homicide was justified. So sometimes the number man shot or whatever, it's like it could be somebody stormed somebody's house and you used your castle rules to take somebody down. So we'll get into that. It's pretty crazy though. After the mayor did his whole crime is down press conference, which I'm kind of like, well, I saw Max get to work. I don't believe the literal stats because I look at that and I go, so homicides are down 13.5%. What is that, like a 2-3 person difference?
About 3 people.
Right. So
and over what period of time? You know, if you're just going to look at 3
But then we
months,
made
4
up for it
months,
this weekend.
But I'm happy to say, okay, maybe the general trend with county and state working with MPD has made some effect.
I'm sure it has.
Right. So I'm happy to give the benefit of the doubt of the general trend going in the right direction. But yeah, one weekend can change a heck of a lot.
Yep.
We'll get into that. But since we're limited on time for the rest of this hour, I need to talk to Austin Baranko before too long.
Okay.
I was just mentioning to y'all, have you seen Bitcoin make a new all-time high after new all-time high after new all-time high? I think right now it's sitting a little above $120,000.
It is.
A
What did it hit
Bitcoin.
this weekend? Was it 122, something like that?
Yeah, pretty incredible.
Yeah.
To see it climbing up. And Peter St. Ange, who we love
Oh,
very
Peter.
much, he shared a chart where it's the M2 money supply and the spot price of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin almost moves like exactly
with it,
with the M2 money supply. So I agree with Trump. Cut rates, Mr. Too Late. Cut those rates.
Cut them.
Print that money up. Put that money into the economy.
If just, and of course it's my business, so I'm selfish saying it, but if they would just cut the interest rates on homes, it would generate almost immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people just chomping at the bit. They want a bigger house or they want to move, not necessarily a bigger house, but interest rates have got them sitting on the fence. So
it's unfortunate. But here is a Bloomberg report about BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah.
You know, for the longest time, Larry Fink there, BlackRock's like, nah, Bitcoin.
It's a fad.
Why we even do the whole Bitcoin thing? It's a Ponzi scheme. It's like tulip mania. It's like, did y'all all read the same economic history book? Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
That's kind of how education works. It's pretty standardized. But still, I'm not even an economist. I know about tulip mania. This ain't tulip mania. Like, come on, man.
Bitcoin mania.
This is, it's its own unique thing.
Right.
At least it's that.
They're educated beyond their intellect. Right?
That happens,
For
man.
the longest
Happens.
time, though, the big players are holding out, saying this is nonsense
They're
or
in
whatever.
denial. They were in denial.
Well, let's listen into this report.
Tantrum into a comfortably bullish state of mind here. Let's hone in on the Bitcoin and Ether for a minute here. And since the rally has been all the news today, it's showing in the flows. I think the ETFs have been part of the rally. If you look, this shows the spot Bitcoin ETFs, and here's the spot Ether. So Ether's smaller, but definitely it's trending up. But look at the Bitcoin ETFs. They've taken in $50 billion since they came out. So they came out in January. They had 28 because GBTC was a conversion. Now all the way up there, $155 billion in assets. IBIT more than half. Now the 20th biggest ETF overall, 7th biggest for BlackRock, and most profitable for BlackRock. So 300% return since the ETF was filed 2 years ago, Scarlett.
Wow.
And boom, what an explosion of growth.
Yeah.
Well, and I told the state of Alabama when these ETFs got filed, and were stood up, it's like, that's when y'all need to be looking into buying Bitcoin.
Amen.
And what was that number they just said? 300%?
Yep.
Wow.
Nothing else performs like it.
Absolutely crazy to see.
So, Joey, I know you have a little bit of Bitcoin.
Sure.
Things
Little
are up
bit.
right now. Can I borrow $20 from you?
No.
See, you got all that money. This is what happens. You start out normal like everybody else.
Because
But as soon as you start getting money, you won't give it away.
Because
no more.
I know you're being fake right now. You don't need $20.
You don't think I could use $20?
You don't need $20.
I've never met a man in my life that couldn't use $20.
You're making more money than me right now. No. And you work hard for it. I'm not dogging you. I'm just saying you don't need $20.
Your money is
If
working
you-
harder for
actually,
you than my money's working
If
for
you
me.
genuinely need $20, I mean,
No, too late now.
I can cash out.
The sad truth, Eddie, is had he not sold his Bitcoin back.
Oh, that's why I
he wouldn't
always
even be
remind him
here.
of this.
He wouldn't
yeah.
even be here right now.
How was that
okay?
pizza you bought with that Bitcoin there, Joey?
I didn't buy pizza. I turned a few $100s into a few thousand, all right?
Yeah.
I thought I was like, whew, look at me.
How anybody would have, Joey?
I'm making
Anybody
like
would've.
20 something a year. I'm like, man, I'd turn a few $100 into a few
If I would have
thousand. Look at
told
me.
you at that time, if I would have popped up in your life and said, "Hey, don't sell it. It's going to be worth
Yeah.
X," you would have
Well,
laughed at.
intellectually, I knew that.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
in 2013, I have old writing, like where I call it,
Yeah.
but I didn't follow through on my own damn advice.
No one takes their own advice, Joey.
It's like, oh my God. But honestly, I would say you don't need to treat it as a get rich quick scheme. That's
No,
where you
not
end
at
up
all.
making
Not at all,
mistakes.
yeah.
And the Ethereum aspect of this is interesting. Whereas they're approving the stable coins and these sorts of things like through legislation, Ethereum might very well end up being the blockchain. It's a little different than Bitcoin, but it'll end up being the blockchain that people build a bunch of, say, apps or tokens on top of.
I think it'll be the more utilitarian of all of them. So,
right. And it's interesting. It works by proof of stake. So it's a bunch of folks like holding Ethereum saying, I'm going to hold it long term and stake it. And anybody can do that. You could buy $1,000 of Ethereum and stake it. And I think it depends on where you stake it and how you stake it. But if you do on Coinbase, you get a 2% APR.
Oh, really?
And that number could go up based on the valuation of the Ethereum and whatnot. So it's a way of securing. You think, oh, this is going to be the network that people are using to build on top of. I'll not only buy it, you could just buy tokens of it, or you could stake those tokens and be part of securing the network and get paid to do it.
That's not a bad idea.
And I think there's going to be more and more of those interesting opportunities going forward.
I think so
financially. So especially millennials out there need to be on their toes. And, there's a lot. We mentioned Tucker Carlson's speech at Charlie Kirk's thing where he was saying, clearly, is Israel involved with all this? And I'm like, okay, Tucker, you're hanging out with Candace Owens and Judge Napolitano too much. All right.
He annoys me. His pants are getting too tight, too. He needs to slow down.
His pants are getting too tight?
He was standing in front of the podium yesterday. I was looking at him. I'm like, dude, you need to slow down. You're eating out too much.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, it's all beanbag. It's not that threatening. Let's listen in, though, to an actual good part of the speech.
Okay.
For Tucker. This was this weekend and plays into our point about people looking for new financial options.
At some point, the basic economics really matter. And they matter because not that it's bad that rich people are getting richer. It's bad that everyone else is getting poorer. And it's especially bad that young people can't afford homes. Let me just put a very precise point on this. If you want a measure of how your economy is doing, I personally favor eliminating GDP as a measure. I don't even know what that is. It's clearly not relevant. They tell me Japan has a stagnant GDP. Have you been to Tokyo? It's the single most radicalizing experience you'll ever have because it's just so nice. You lost the war? Really? Can we lose a war and wind up like this? GDP. No. I don't know what even that is. The total economic activity. Oh, no. My measure is really simple. I got a bunch of kids. Can they afford houses with full-time jobs at like 27, 28? And the answer is no way. And the answer is that 35-year-olds with really good jobs can't afford a house unless they stretch and go deep into debt. And I just think that's a total disaster. That's a complete disaster. Why? Two reasons. One, if people don't own things, they don't feel ownership of the country they're in. And the country gets super volatile because people feel like they've got nothing to lose. When you have a lawn, trust me, you're thinking long term. Second, it's really hard to have a family without a house. It is. It's like super fun to live in an apartment if, there's like a bar downstairs, you're in a cool neighborhood. I'm in East Village. It's so cool. Try to have 3 kids. You're not going to have 3 kids there. You can't. Nobody wants to raise their kids in that neighborhood. Nobody wants to raise their kids in an apartment. People do it because they have to. Nobody wants to. People want a little house, not some McMansion, just a little normal house. That is the actual American dream. And that is what is totally unattainable for young people. And so the only young people in general that you will ever meet who have houses are young people whose parents help them. And God bless their parents. That's a perfectly great thing to do for your kids. But most people's parents can't afford to do that because they're already in debt from their pointless college degree. So that is a national emergency. One of the reasons it's happening is because normal people with normal jobs no longer believe they can win in this system and that all the money is going to the worst people. And no one even stops to ask what the hell is going on. But what I'm saying is that our leadership class should say something about it and should assign a moral value to it. And if you're getting rich by loaning money to people at incredibly high interest rates, that's something you're going to have to talk to God about. That is not good. That is not virtuous. That's disgusting. And the fact that nobody feels free to say that, nobody feels like you can just say like 30% on a credit card. Why is anybody paying a credit card bill? Because they always say like if the very rich, if you borrow enough from a bank, you're kind of in charge of the bank because they need you to pay them back. So they're totally happy to negotiate terms with you. But if you borrow a little bit from the bank, they'll just take your house away. So what if people got together and just decided, wait a second, 30% interest is a lot, especially since they're pushing credit cards on kids like crack. It's some.
And I think it's this sort of economic populist message that is going to be around for a long time as the situation doesn't get better. I mean, it has to get better. If it doesn't, then somebody smart on the left is going to remake the Democratic Party with a message just like that.
It was a populist appeal, and I think it was spot on. You know, it's funny. Our son just bought a house within the last year, and it was very. They saved and saved and saved. And they put like $75,000 down on the property.
Very
this
rare.
really,
Wow.
no, very
That's rare.
Jeremiah, or my stepson, is very, very old school, just an old soul, but does everything the right way. And it was very taxing on them trying to find the right property, get the things, and and what you do. And he's right. When you don't have a base of operations, when you have no sense of belonging and no skin in that game, it's difficult. But I will say this: he's wrong about one thing. There is GDP. It's called global destructive potential. That's how you measure a country's richness. Okay.
Well, on the housing, I disagree with him a little bit on the housing.
What do you think?
One of the biggest things, young people, and I run into this all the time. My first house I got might have been 1,000 square feet. The average 25 to 27, 30-year-old wants what their parents have right now. They don't understand that I've got to start small and grow.
Instant gratification, right?
We see it all the time. Unfortunately, I'm sure I sell people houses that they struggle to make payments on, but I tell them up front, you might want to grow. You grow into this.
Agreed.
It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. And there are some really good loan programs out there that, for somebody that does want to buy a house, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but there are some pretty good programs out there. But right now, it is a premium. And interest rates are high, but as interest rates come down, some housing will go up. But right now, we just don't have, honestly, we just don't have enough housing. If they were to drop interest rates today, we'd run into another housing crisis.
Yeah.
And I mean, as someone that sells houses, I invite that on. Bring on the housing crisis, because that's the only thing that gets builders.
What do you
to
mean
start
by
building.
crisis?
We'll run out.
Okay.
Not enough inventory.
We don't have enough inventory. Prices will go skyrocket, and we're right back to this again. It's just you have cheaper interest rates.
Well, and also I think Tucker has that perspective of the Northeast. I think we are the South. There's a lot of growth and movement. Literally, people moving to the South is because it's much more affordable here.
Yeah.
Everything is, including housing.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the Northeast, or the West Coast,
It's
good luck.
outrageous. Yeah.
I mean, the average home price, I think, is over $400,000 nationwide.
Yep.
And
in
so,
Alabama, it's in the 200s range, but you're still
right.
I mean, honestly, my first house, I think I paid less than $100,000 for it.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's what we bought at the time. It certainly wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it was. I knew this next step I had to move up in life. I mean, some people go from apartment life to house life. I didn't want that.
Well, I think he's hitting on something I've intuited for a long time, though, and a lot of people in my generation. And I don't just put it in. I hate the whole Marxist socialist, like soak the rich sort of idea. It's more like, no, when you build an economy off of a central bank that can create money out of thin air, and they pass it out to the rich friends first. In the Austrian economics, called the Cantillon effect.
Yeah.
That the first users of the money, they're wealthier for it. As that money trickles down into the economy, especially the wage earner who's doing $15 an hour, if that. Go talk to some of the waiters and waitresses at local restaurants. If that, they might be getting that with tips. That money is like, now not only are they making a wage that's already nominally small, that dollar doesn't go as far. And you put that not just to like wages and like somebody, some bank gives a loan to somebody to build another property in Manhattan, but you look at it across the entire economy. And what's happened is so much of that money we've been printing goes into, I mean, we've talked about this. If you're smart, you put it into a house.
Yeah.
Like that's a great way to keep that wealth long term.
As someone that doesn't have a lot of money, that's how you build your wealth.
But that's happening at scale across the country. And so as much as we've had the generational sniping and the okay boomer moments and you stupid millennial, lazy millennial stuff, no, there really was a difference from somebody starting a family in, say, the 80s. And especially compared to the 60s than it is now.
Sure.
Just the cost of basic things is much more expensive. You add to that, and I think he's 100% right on the whole college degree thing. I think a lot of people were literally sold a bill of goods.
Yeah.
And where they could have been much better off financially and
100%.
probably much happier in finding a gig
that.
early in life, getting experience early.
Concur.
And so it's all turned upside down where it is not a middle class country necessarily anymore.
No, we have started eating up the middle class probably 15, 20 years ago, and we're still going through it.
Well, and that's because we've stopped manufacturing.
Yep.
That's where your middle class comes
100%.
from. And the thing is this, even as there has been no real recalibration on any of the scale or the systemic nature of the value of the dollar, or, people talk about inflation. I care about the consumer price index.
Right.
What am I
Yeah.
paying somewhere for something?
Right.
A gallon of milk.
Well, that's what affects you and me.
And that's
That's
really what
exactly
affects us at that level. So.
Right. Well, in a second, we'll hit the top hour break. Austin Baranco wants to push back his segment a little bit here. Before I hit the break, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out. If you're feeling tired, sluggish, and just not like yourself, a lot of guys feel that way, especially as they hit their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And they're like, it's just part of aging. I'm a man. I'll just power through it. And as you fall asleep after eating a sandwich for lunch.
It happens.
Well, maybe I'll move to Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't live this way. It doesn't have to be that way. Low energy and performance issues aren't inevitable. And at Montgomery Men's Health, they can help you out. No guesswork, no gimmicks. It's just real science and effective treatments. Instead of using some generic online pill or, it's overpriced and ineffective, use a personalized treatment plan. They are the urologists and providers at Montgomery Men's Health. And beyond just testosterone checks, they have ED treatment and other options many men don't even know exist. It's affordable. Consultation, including blood work, is just $99 with results before you leave. And they have treatments that'll make you feel better the very same day if you choose those particular treatments. So act now. You only got one life. Procrastination can make this worse. Hey, and it's not just guys getting older. If you're in your 20s or 30s and you feel like crap across the board, just no energy, no sex drive to speak of, no metabolism, your sleep patterns are off, get involved with Montgomery Men's Health. At least start to understand what the problem might be underlying. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or visit MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Second hour coming up. I do want to get into this weekend in Montgomery. It's actually what I wrote about yesterday afternoon. We'll get into that. And if we got time, maybe in the final hour, I want to get into what you wrote, Troy. Because I was a little distracted focusing on my thing, but I started on yours, and I didn't
mean to confuse you. I'll tell you the evolution of it.
We'll definitely get into that.
Thanks.
And of course, it's just good having the gang.
That's nice. It's very nice.
Like
Fun
after
Monday.
vacations and stuff. Just found out no judge for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So some people be sad, some people be happy. Yeah. Polarizing times we live
And thank you for your thoughts on my sister-in-law too.
Of
This is
course,
important. Yeah, when you were.
It's a big deal.
Did you have a hard time coming back from that vacation a little bit?
Yeah, I was
thought
cranky
you did.
last week.
I thought you did.
Just a little cranky, to put it mildly. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Trump announcing he's levying tariffs of 30% against the European Union and Mexico starting August 1st. President Trump's special envoy to Ukraine and Russia has met with Ukraine President Zelensky in Kyiv. The president made quickly stopping the war one of his diplomatic priorities, and he has increasingly expressed frustration with Russian President Vladimir Putin's unbudging stance on U.S.-led peace efforts. Mr. Trump now threatening 100% tariffs against Russia. A tragedy in Massachusetts. Flames roared through an assisted living facility in Fall River, killing 9 people and trapping residents inside. At least 30 people were hurt. On Wall Street, the Dow had 55 points and the NASDAQ adding 72. This is SRN News.
Hi, Mike Gallagher here. As the summer heats up, so do the bills. If you're like a lot of folks, you're not selling your home anytime soon, but that equity you've built, just sitting there. That's why I trust Mike and Brian at Fellowship Home Loans. Love this place. It's in their name, their DNA. They're the team I've used personally, and they treat every client like family. Fellowship Home Loans. They know how to help you tap into your home's value wisely, whether that's a HELOC or a cash-out refi. Fellowship is a direct lender and operates with your best interest in mind. Maybe it's time to finally knock out that renovation, pay off some debt, or just add a little cushion to your retirement account. With rates still reasonable and inflation squeezing all of us, your home might be the smartest financial tool you've got right now. So if you're staying put this summer, make your home work for you. Visit my friends at Fellowship Home Loans, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 8193.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Today and tomorrow will be the hottest days of the year so far. So we'll say sunny and hot today and tomorrow with a high in the upper 90s. And the heat index may exceed the 105 danger range both days. Any showers and storms will be very isolated in nature today and tomorrow. But by late Wednesday into Thursday, a disturbance in the Gulf could spike the rain chances. We'll be watching. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Hey, this is Peaches and Clean, powerful carpet cleaning. Do you have commercial property, offices, or rental units? Give us a call at Peaches and Clean. We can clean and restore your carpeting and bring them back to life. Give us a call at Peaches and Clean or peachesandclean.com.
There's no clean like Peaches and Clean.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. 2 men are dead in related Saturday afternoon shooting incidents in Montgomery. MPD responded to shootings just before 4 p.m. at 2 separate locations less than a half mile apart. The first victim was shot in the 400 block of North California Street. A second man was shot and killed at Real Cuts Barbershop on Upwetumpka Road. Suspects and motive unknown. Auburn star basketball player Tahad Pettiford has been arrested and charged with DUI. According to Lee County jail records, the 19-year-old Auburn point guard was booked into the Lee County jail at 3:46 a.m. on Saturday for driving under the influence. Pettiford averaged 11.6 points per game last year in his freshman season for Auburn. An investigation is underway after a motorcyclist was shot and killed by law enforcement in Montgomery. A high-speed pursuit began when state troopers attempted to pull 27-year-old Jacob Hutchinson over in Prattville Saturday night. The chase ended in Montgomery when Hutchinson ditched his motorcycle and pulled out a knife during a foot pursuit. Hutchinson was then fatally shot by officers. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hey, this is David Little from Tucker Pecan Company. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for over 10 years now, and the results have been amazing. Every day we have new customers that come in that have heard us on all the different radio stations that we advertise on. If you want to help your business grow, the best way to do it is through radio advertising through Blue Water Broadcasting. They do a great job in promoting our business and helping us grow our business, and hopefully they can help you grow your business too.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the river region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Recently, I met with 3 different owners of homes who had the same problem. They wanted to sell their house quick and sell it as is for cash. All 3 people were approached by different investors that said they had cash for their home, signed contracts, only to find out they were not personally going to buy their homes, but to find a buyer willing to pay more than they offered and pocket the difference. It's called wholesaling. Offer a contract to buy a house at a certain price, up to price to other buyers, and pocket the difference. I urge you, don't fall for it. You want to sell your home quick, use a licensed professional realtor, as I have been for 48 years, keeping promises to get homes sold quick. For all the details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883.
CM truck beds, built to work, built to last. From a simple flatbed to a rugged aluminum truck bed, CM truck beds are built by the best in the industry, and you can see the difference. Rated B&W hitches, plug-and-play modular sealed wiring harnesses, LED lights, 1/8-inch steel tread decks, premium powder coat finishes. CM truck beds has a bed for you. Flatbeds, stump beds, beds with fail bikes. The side boxes and accessories are just as tough and durable. All of the CM truck beds are available for you now at Airport Trailer. Visit Airport Trailer today or call 288-5785. Make your truck and trailer come to life at Airport Trailer.
Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store. When your feet aren't properly supported, it can affect your whole body, your back, your ankles. You might be thinking there's no way something as simple as Good Feet arch supports can help me. Well, that's exactly what Bill thought.
My feet would just ache, my back would hurt, my ankles, everything just hurt. And I'd seen the commercial several times before I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
Visit the Good Feet Store for a free fitting and test walk. If you want to live free from pain, come visit the Good Feet Store and take the first step towards a more comfortable, healthier you. Wendy's experience might inspire you too.
Since wearing my arch supports from the Good Feet Store, my back pain is gone and my feet don't hurt as much. And as I look into the future without pain, I see myself being even more adventurous, joyful, and full of possibility.
Visit goodfeet.com to book your appointment today.
They're more than pets, they're family. And while your furry friend is safe and loved at home, countless animals across the river region are still waiting for that same chance. That's why Blue Water Broadcasting and Amy's Antiques and Flea Mall are coming together for the annual Paw It Forward Pet Drive to help local humane societies care for homeless animals in need. We're stuffing our Sprinter van full of supplies and you can help. Drop off food, toys, blankets, and more at Amy's Antiques, a 20,000 square foot mall with over 80 vendors on the Northeastern Boulevard. Paw It Forward today.
To find out how you can help, visit newstalk931.com.
Yeah, folks, just as a reminder, it is kind of coming down to crunch time with the Paw It Forward drive, and the River Region Humane Societies need your help. In particular, I've been seeing a lot of their overcapacity in the Montgomery Humane Shelter area. So what they're looking for is things like dog food, cat food, pet bedding, pillows, toys, treats, dog shampoo, brushes, cleaning supplies, collars and leashes, pee pads, feeding bowls, blankets. Get by there to your closest humane society and donate to this. This is something we do every year, but this year in particular, it seems like more and more pets that they should be pets, but they've been let go. And it's a shame to see, whether dogs or cats, that they're in that crunch. But we can help. I know y'all are out there and able to help. So y'all get involved with the Paw It Forward drive. We'll be back in just a moment.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Austin Baranko with Invista Advisors. Hey, Austin, how you doing today?
Oh, having a great Monday, Joey. How are you, Nettie?
Oh,
pretty
good.
good.
Great. We also got Troy Carrico here.
Troy's up in the house.
Hey, Austin.
Troy.
Hey, Austin. What's going on?
Oh, not much. Having a great day. Sun is shining, and markets seem to be happy, so it's all good.
Oh.
Now, I have to bring up, we were talking about it in the first hour a little bit, this run up in Bitcoin as well as some other cryptos. I think Bloomberg reported that BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF is their most profitable one at this point. Pretty crazy to see this. I would say it's the era of institutional adoption we're seeing before our eyes.
I certainly would agree with that. I think that anyone that were naysayers, 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago are slowly backing away and coming forward in support of cryptocurrency. Obviously, Bitcoin is the market leader. They've been there the longest. And, man, I think they went from, 102 to 120, 122, somewhere in that range over the last several days.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, our portfolio does not hold Bitcoin. I'm no expert, but man, you are, blind if you're not watching what's going on here. And I think that the other thing that I'm not an expert on, but I've talked to a lot of guys who are, is kind of the stable coins introduction to the market potential adoption by some sovereignties is going to help as well. And so I think you're seeing kind of an explosion in the underlying asset, which would be cryptocurrencies, boosting those as well. So it's been a really unique, swift run up in that space over the last several weeks. And it seems to be the topic everyone wants to talk about when I'm around them.
Now, I'm not asking for specific, say, buys or, like a particular analysis of a particular company, but I'd imagine there are going to be publicly traded companies that are in the crypto space that if you kind of want exposure to this activity going up, there are options out there in the more traditional markets.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I've even got some buddies that are buying companies strictly because of their crypto reserves. They're no longer storing their money in traditional banks. A lot of them are storing their money in, say Bitcoin, Ethereum, things of this nature. And they're not buying those companies because of the profitability of the companies. They're buying those companies because they have Bitcoin reserves or Ethereum reserves, which is something that I had never considered. But hearing some friends of mine who have had success in the space allocating to these corporations that no longer store all of their assets as cash in a bank or as money market in a bank, they're using, this new asset class is unique. And it's not one or two. It's a ton of institutions. I mean, you can just do a quick Google search, or to get back to what we were talking about last week, Grok or ChatGPT will tell you which of these large institutions, particularly fund companies like your BlackRocks, they will all have now an ETF or a mutual fund that has an underlying allocation of cryptocurrency. And then even more than that, a lot of them will store some of their own reserves, not a fund that you can openly buy, but reserves of cash for their actual corporation will be in these cryptocurrencies. So a huge change in dynamic over the last decade to favor cryptocurrencies. And even guys like Jamie Dimons, who were big naysayers, I think have come around to basically have to capitulate and acknowledge that even though he doesn't necessarily believe in it because it's not tangible, he can't touch it, he doesn't understand it, he's had to come out and say, hey, I may not get it, but it looks like everyone else does. And, whatever the market deems to have value, so be it.
Yeah, what a fascinating time. And I know there are a lot of moving parts, but folks, if you're looking for a great team to help you plan your financial future, and this, of course, can be your stock portfolio. Austin runs the brokerage desk there at Invista Advisors, but it's all of the above approach. So maybe you're looking for life insurance or setting up, say, end of life, or run a small business, want help with that, or selling that small business. Anything you can really think of in the financial world. If you're looking for a long-term financial plan, get in touch with Invista Advisors. You can always go to InvistaAdvisors.com or give them a call direct at 387-0094. And when you call them at 387-0094, be sure to say, hey, I heard Austin Branco on the radio with that Joey Clark fellow. I want to see what y'all can do for me. I appreciate it as always, Austin.
Yeah, Joey, Eddie, Troy, thank you guys. Y'all have a great week.
You too, brother.
Thank you, sir. Again, folks, that's Austin Branco with Invista Advisors.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Randall has been very patient indeed. Let's go to Randall. Hey, Randall.
Hello, fellas.
How you doing, brother?
Hey, buddy.
Pretty good. And just to touch on, before I get to what I call for, just touch on the young kids buying houses. Alabama mortgage, man, they did a thing. My son was 20 years old and got a brand new house. Working with them. And if you're not ready for a house, they'll show you the steps to get you ready.
Yep.
Like if you ain't have credit or your credit's a little down, that they'll walk with you and stay in touch with you for years, whatever long it takes. I mean, they something special.
Well, I love hearing that. They really are Alabama Home Mortgage. Really good folks.
Yep. And on the Trump thing, you was talking about Trump earlier, talking about the about the files again. Did you hear what he said yesterday? He said that the Trump files, I mean, the Epstein file was as fake as the Steele dossier.
Oh boy.
And that they was wrote up by about Obama and Hillary.
Oh, come
and, on. And Joe Biden.
I gotta say, the boomer brain is undefeated. Undefeated. That gum, man. I mean, he's clearly just saying, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Scott Adams' analysis of it is, I kind of like it. To put it in a simple phrase, Trump has made a commander-in-chief decision. We're not talking about this.
That's exactly right.
That it's a very serious thing.
Yeah.
That I'm just not even touched. So he's willing to say whatever to tell folks to get off it. But
Yeah.
Again, it's got the Streisand effect.
Well, I saw, Randall, I saw this theory yesterday thrown out, and I kind of looked at it and thought, that Trump actually went back to the deep state and said, look, everybody's in here. I know you tried to kill me twice. Shut up, or the shit's about to come out. You know what I'm saying? And so it just, I don't know what you guys think about that. It's just, it's a theory that's out there, but I don't.
No. I mean, it's hard to know.
He wouldn't come out and said it was fake after telling everybody just to not talk about it,
Right.
and he talks about it again. It just makes you think that he's
right.
You're right.
With all the
Protest
stuff
too
that
much.
he took care of, he said he's going to turn out the JFK files, the Malcolm X files, Dr. King files. He was going to let it all out. Epstein files.
UFOs. What about our UFOs, man?
He ain't, and speaking of UFOs, they belong to the government, and they ain't fooling me. They run. I don't know how you think about this, but I think they run off mercury and big magnetic force from the Earth's magnetic force.
Agreed.
That's how they move around.
Yep.
That's how they move around so easy. So, what do you think about that?
Well, a good friend of mine is Luis Elizondo. If you know who he is, he's the guy who blew the whistle on the Pentagon on the UAP program. I served for 4 years with him at DIA. He tells me that everything you think is true is, and there's more to it. And one of the things he did bring up was that there was a back engineered piece of electromagnetic transducer, inducer, whatever you want to call it, and they were able to actually levitate and defy gravity with it. So, yeah, I think you're spot on. I think you're spot on there. So,
that makes me feel good for today. I ain't crazy.
You're not crazy. You're tied in, man. Listen, you pay attention. You're a citizen that pays attention. You're talking to us about Trump and Epstein, talking about UFOs. So thank you for being a good citizen.
Yes, sir. We'll see y'all.
Appreciate it, Randall. Yeah, and I guess the big thing over the weekend is like if Bondi doesn't go, then Bongino and Patel are going to leave. Well, Kash Patel put this out over the weekend.
Okay.
23 million views on this tweet.
All right.
The conspiracy theories just aren't true, writes Kash Patel. Never have been. It's an honor to serve the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and I'll continue to do so for as long as he calls on me. Then Trump, as he's getting off Marine One today, he goes, I talked to Bongino. I talked to Danny's doing great. Bongino's fine. So there's worry that they're going to jump ship. And honestly, you look at, especially Bongino, you look at all the stuff he said on the outside.
All right.
It really is it's whiplash people are getting from this.
What do you guys think about this? This is a malaise, or this is something that's very much bothered me lately with the what I call the insurgency that's going on in the country. There is an insurgency that against the federal agents. And I'm not the biggest supporter of federal law enforcement, but I'll tell you this. When people are taking rocks and throwing them at their windows, and he says, listen, here's how you fix it. You bash your heads in with the butt of a rifle, or you put a bullet in them. That's how that stuff stops. These people are now empowered. And it's concerning that Trump and his law enforcement cadre are continuing to let it go on. And
I'd imagine some of these raids are going to be beefed up a little more.
Gonna have to now.
Well, someone said the other day to me, they said, Troy, what about this? What about Trump holding back up to 2026 so the elections go through and then he's going to bring the hammer down? And I said, it's possible, but I think that's thinking a little too far ahead.
I think we need to see some action before that.
I agree, bro.
Yeah. Myself. Yeah.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Simpler Days.
Hey, Simpler Days.
How you doing?
Hey.
Hey, do you remember when the skyjackings were going on back in the day? Do you remember what stopped them?
What?
They shot killed a couple of them on the plane.
Yep, they were using a
That took care of that.
subsonic round.
Yep.
You know, when you allow that to keep happening and going on, then you're only going to make it worse. And somebody is going to have to, you know, draw the line in the sand and say, you can do this, but you can't do this. And if you attack federal law enforcement officers, then you're going to pay a hefty price.
Yep.
Speaking of the housing industry, Eddie, do you remember back in the day when what did they call the first home you ever had? They called it a starter home.
Yeah, starter home. First time home buyers. You go in a starter home.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yep.
And it wasn't supposed to be your dream home. It
Right.
wasn't supposed to be your middle of the road home. It was supposed to be but now the generations, they want the dream home first.
Yep.
And they don't want to wait. And then they create all kind of problems, but get themselves in debt and get foreclosed on and all that good stuff. But one thing they have to worry about that I didn't have to worry about, Eddie, was schools. And now they've got to factor in that.
School loans.
They do.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Private schools, especially whether you're in Montgomery, even Prattville, private schools are kind of becoming the norm. So that's an expense, and it's not a cheap expense by no means.
Not.
No, and I mean your income. You know, average Joe and Jane can only stretch that income so far, and you got 2-3 kids in private school.
Well, that's
and
it.
now you take on a house payment that's more than 25% of your income. You're going to get yourself in trouble.
Yep.
Now, what do you think of what transpired, I guess, over the past week with the mayor coming out saying crime's down 28%, and then we have a pretty bloody weekend this past weekend?
Well, little Napoleon, you know, needs to take his hand out and reach across the aisle there and grab the other law enforcement agency's hand and have a press conference with all of them together saying, we are either going to sink together or we're going to rise above.
You're here.
Above.
Yeah.
We is a very good word to use when you're mission oriented on trying to stop something.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't want to use the word we because he never did really want them on board to begin with. So, I mean, in the crime, you know, when you put out stats between January, say March, and that's great. But the heat of the moment, the heat of the battle is coming in June, July, August.
Right.
That's when the fight's really going to come on. So you need to hold off on those stats.
Well, and I reminded myself over the weekend, I'll read what I wrote here in a second, but I looked at like, okay, what were the homicide numbers under Todd Strange? And then what have been the homicide numbers under Mayor Reed? And it's essentially, it's not quite, but if you average out each number of homicides, it's essentially double. It's gone from 35 a year on average to about 70 a year on average. And that's, I mean, you can quibble with the exact numbers, but that's a real trend. And at that same time, you've seen that near doubling. You've essentially seen a decline, cut in half of our law enforcement levels at MPD.
Correlation.
Very, very simple logic, I think.
Correlation. Yeah.
With also a decrease in the inner city population, Joey.
True.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
So it seems like that the numbers would be coming down with less people, but either one or the other, we're getting more criminals than we are solid citizens. Y'all have a good day.
You too, bud.
Simpler days. 272-9228 if you want to get on the conversation. Piggybacking off Randall there, he is 100% right about Alabama home mortgage. In fact, I did this with him. After Kim came by the studio, this is back when you were really pressing me real hard to go buy a place.
Yeah, see how that worked out.
And, right. I'm going to be like his white whale sale, right? Captain Ahab over there.
Joey will be at my funeral going, maybe he was right. I need to talk to a realtor.
No, what's going to happen is you're going to help me buy a place.
Yeah.
And then that's when you croak.
That's what, yeah.
So you need to be careful about actually helping me out. That's why I've been so hesitant. But I remember when y'all were really first putting the screws with me, and actually it was a very useful thank you. I'm going to say thank you at this moment. Kim Williams was too. So I called her up and went through it. She's like, oh, Joey, you don't have bad credit. You have no credit. I'm like, yeah, I told you. Like, I mean, I pay my power bill on time. I'd never miss a payment on anything. But
And so she helped me go, okay, here's what you need to do.
Yep.
Start building that credit up to get in the right position. Here's how much money you should probably be saving if you're thinking about down payments. And that's exactly what they'll do for you. They'll tell you straight up, you're not ready to buy a home. But they will.
But here's the steps you need to take.
Stay in touch. As you take those steps, maybe it'll take a few years, but you'll know these are the folks that helped you out. And, you know, for a company to be willing to say you're not ready instead of trying to upsell you immediately, get you,
that's what they can do, Joey.
A great sign of who they are there at Alabama Home Mortgage. So whether you're looking to buy a home or refinance at home, doing a lot of cash out refis right now, I believe. I did not realize a lot of folks taking out that second mortgage to make ends meet. Now they would kind of like just a single consolidation because some of those second mortgages or home equity loans had adjustable rates?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's getting a little painful for certain folks, but it could be, as we heard Tucker Carlson talking about, those credit card interest rates. Oh my God.
And they're only going up and up and up.
It's a terrible place to be, or it could be you want to reinvest in your property, or maybe you're hitting retirement, want to get control of monthly overhead costs so that retirement lasts. Y'all check out Alabama Home Mortgage today. They can help you with all of these things. Just call them up direct at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
When you got a stack of jobs to do, customers to please, and schedules to keep, there's no better feeling than knowing someone has your back. Thompson Tractor has had our customers' backs since 1957 with great cat equipment and peace of mind, including a complete range of programs and tools that keep you both productive and protected, giving you the safety net you deserve, like CAT customer value agreements to extend equipment life and maximize your investment, and VisionLink for real-time monitoring on all your equipment in one secure app. Track working and idle hours, fuel consumption, and receive event and diagnostic codes. All backed by the best trained service team in the business. That's the Thompson Safety Net. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details on all support programs. Thompson Tractor. We're here for you.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Wake it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Today and tomorrow will be the hottest days of the year so far. So we'll stay sunny and hot today and tomorrow with a high in the upper 90s. And the heat index may exceed the 105 danger range both days. Any showers and storms will be very isolated in nature today and tomorrow. But by late Wednesday into Thursday, a disturbance in the Gulf could spike the rain chances. We'll be watching. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray to Publix.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. So, I think I'm going to read what I wrote. It'll come out tomorrow. My op-ed will come out tomorrow in the morning, and then yours will come out tomorrow as well.
Afternoon.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm liking that we fill up the
I
Tuesday.
told Andy, I said, we got this like synergy. Let's keep it rolling.
I like her.
She's awesome.
She's very cool.
She's awesome.
Annie from Minnesota. And she's very
conservative, unlike most of Minnesota.
Yeah, and very nice. It has that Minnesota nice going on there.
She's great.
But beginning with more of a biblical allusion this week, then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" "I don't know," he replied. "Am I my brother's keeper?" The Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." Of course, that's Genesis 4, 9, 10. I sit on my back porch in my old childhood neighborhood in Montgomery, Alabama, listening to birds chirp and sing as the wind whips through the sunlit trees. It's very peaceful here during the day, a good place to write if one can stand the heat and humidity. And except for the violent summer thunder, the nights are always quiet here as well. I came of age in this neighborhood, but forgot its peace and quiet. Perhaps in my youth, I simply lacked the perspective to notice or the wisdom to care. It wasn't until I moved back here almost 2 years ago that I began to slowly but surely appreciate its peaceful days and quiet nights in contrast to other parts of the city. Living in several other spots around Montgomery in the preceding years, I grew much too accustomed to hearing gunshots on the horizon almost every night as I laid my head on the pillow. It was such a regular occurrence that I began to refer to the distant discharges as the Montgomery lullaby. What should have disturbed me left me undisturbed. Yet now the peace and quiet of my childhood neighborhood speaks with disturbing silence. Here, Montgomery seems like a town with crime nowhere to be found. Yet over the horizon, I know that the nighttime gunshots thunder louder and more violently than any summer storm. Over the horizon, some poor souls might even die in the daytime. Over the horizon, in certain parts of town, Montgomery might even seem like a place where people are killed in cold blood every day. A couple of months ago, the Taboo Room with Aaron S. channel on YouTube uploaded a documentary called Welcome to Montgomery, Alabama, where people are killed every day in cold blood. After I shared it on social media in April, I received pushback from some folks invested in protecting Montgomery's image for sharing such a sensationalized look at the city. Despite the provocative title, obviously there weren't 365 homicides last year. I found the documentary to be a raw and honest look at parts of Montgomery far from my neighborhood's peace and quiet. To the relief of local critics, the video was soon removed from YouTube for copyright claims. I suspect a certain local news affiliate didn't like their nightly news clips being used to frame such raw, uncensored content. However, the video has since been re-uploaded, and I encourage every Alabamian to watch it. If we're being literal with Montgomery's homicide statistics, the video should probably be titled Where People Are Killed Every Week in Cold Blood. But after watching the documentary showcase of a certain wayward son subculture in Montgomery, the statistical rise in homicides starts to come into vivid living color. When the blood of one's brother cries out from the ground, the effects are much more tragic than a simple rise in statistics. Yet statistics are usually all we have to reckon with such carnage. Simply put, the number of annual homicides in Montgomery has basically doubled since Mayor Stephen Reed took over from Mayor Todd Strange, going from roughly 35 people killed each year on average to nearly 70 now. Exact numbers aside, the trend is real. As the baseline number of homicides has risen, so too have force levels at Montgomery Police Department. They've declined. nearly cut in half, though exact officer levels are hard to come by. They're kind of cagey about the exact numbers. They don't want to let the bad guys in on it. This is why the Metro Area Crime Suppression Unit, MAX, was established in June 2024, essentially forced on the city by county and state law enforcement. Some progress has come since MAX was formed, with Reed last week saying violent crime is down 28% since last year. Upon seeing the mayor's press conference, I wasn't sure if I believed the stats, but I was willing to give the benefit of the doubt for an improving trend. Nonetheless, something didn't feel quite right. Like the stats didn't quite grasp the rawness of the underlying problem I saw in the documentary. To be fair, Reed readily acknowledges more needs to be done, but I have the haunting sense that his most recent presentation was like a halftime scoreboard with 2 whole quarters left to go in the game. Then the weekend came. It was a bloody one for Montgomery. At least 2 young men are dead. I think it might be 3. Apparently killed in cold blood in what police confirmed to be related shootings. Another person was shot and critically injured near Fitzpatrick Elementary School Saturday afternoon. And 2 more people in unrelated incidents were shot with non-life-threatening gun wounds in the area of Ann Street Walmart. I thought crime was down, was my first thought upon seeing the weekend news. I stopped going to that Walmart years ago, was my next thought. I used to live right next to it, that Walmart. I guess the horizon was closer than I wanted to believe as I drifted to sleep to those unhappy lullabies. Hopefully the horizon doesn't continue to creep. People aren't killed in cold blood every day in Montgomery. Definitely not in my childhood neighborhood where I sit and write in peace and quiet watching the Sunday sunset through the trees. Might as well be a different city. But after a weekend like this one, it can certainly feel as though too many wayward sons in Montgomery are still asking, am I my brother's keeper? Also, I didn't include it in the piece and I didn't include it because it seemed like kind of a crazy situation. The guy who sent officers on a chase, then it ended with, I believe, a state trooper pulled a knife and the state trooper shot him dead.
Yep.
That's being investigated now by Aaliyah whenever there's an officer involved shooting.
Right.
But, I mean, pretty crazy stuff. And the 2 that are related, I mean, there are folks this is what people worry about. And I don't say it's all Montgomery. It's not all Montgomery. But there's a certain, I would say, wayward son, if I'm putting it nicely, subculture where it's kill or be killed.
The value of life is minimalized.
Yep.
And then you got to look at incidents like the Ann Street Walmart.
Yeah.
Now, it's like in that block. Was it right there in front of the entry? Who knows? They don't give the exact location and layout. But I mean, am I wrong to... It wasn't even like a conscious thing. Like, I just stopped going there. The last time I went there, I went and bought a cheap Vizio TV. And somebody, as we're leaving with the TV, was trying to hit us up. I'll give you EBT for that. And I think that was the last time I went to that freaking Walmart, or to Walmart in general. I'm just done with Walmart. And it's because, like, that whole area, I'm like, I get a sense of, like, no, most folks are fine, having a good time, but, like, there's just that one. And why play the odds? Am I off base on this?
No. I mean, I go there still, but that's the difference between you and I. You know me. When I gotta have something, I gotta have something. I don't care. If I get in my way, then I
go to the Walmart and Wetumpka or something.
That's why you carry. That's why you carry.
That's not much.
Man, listen, the Walmart in Wetumpka is like the Taj Mahal compared to
it's
down
not
there.
that. It's these concrete barriers they have put down the middle of 231 in Wetumpka.
Yeah,
I don't know whose brother-in-law owned a concrete business, but I bet he's very wealthy right now.
A lot of Jersey barriers out
It's
there.
ridiculous, man. I see people on the regular. They confuse so many drivers. All of a sudden, they're on the other side of the barrier in oncoming traffic, thinking they're in a turning lane.
I've seen it. It is a mystery. But you know, that's why you carry everywhere you go.
Yeah, well,
that's why you carry everywhere you go.
You must be
that's
talking
the
to
great
me.
equalizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a shame. I did get a feeling when all that like announcement of crime's down. It's like, okay.
And see, that's another thing. Whenever I hear that, it's almost like others hear that and go, "Oh yeah, watch this."
Yeah. Well, and I am willing to believe because the max was set up.
Yeah.
So there has been. I mean, they've taken a lot of weapons off the street.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
They have. You know, there are a whole bunch of new laws. Thank you, Senator Barfoot, and the legislature did do some tough on crime stuff. That
okay, but
is
when you
welcome.
get arrested for something like that,
Yeah.
Has any of that changed? Because as we have known, Ania's Law, et cetera, when these folks have gotten arrested, they've turned around right back on the streets 48 hours or less.
And
is
this
that
is
still the case today?
Yes, and this is something the mayor pointed out last week,
They
and
were
he's
just
right
peeing
about
on
that.
our legs and saying it's raining.
Well, he's right about that.
You can't address part of it and expect something to change.
Well, you can't arrest your way out of this if immediately the people you arrest are just let
You're right back out. You're trying to hug your way out of it. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
It does not work.
That pee on your legs just a golden shower.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and
it's not a good one.
I've looked into like the say juvenile intervention stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of it does work, but it can't be the only thing you're doing. Some of it's just nonsense, but some of it does work. But you have to have like it worked in Oakland for a while, but the reason it worked is because you had the soft side, the carrot, and then you had a big old stick.
Yeah.
And the reason it went downhill is they got rid of the stick.
Right. I mean,
So you
I
need
read
both.
the article this morning. The community centers are open. Things like that are open. It doesn't matter. These kind of folks don't go to community centers.
A good friend of mine retired from MCSO. He was a lieutenant, really solid dude. And his name is Martinez. And Martinez took a job with the juvenile detention facility because he was just retired and he was going to still make a little money.
Yeah.
He lasted about 6 months. He said it was, there's no concept with a lot of these youth with any cause and effect.
Nope.
And he said it best. What you just described, guys, is when they commit some crime, they're just put right back out into the thing. There's no ramifications for it.
Well,
So-
and I'll come back to that documentary. I don't know if y'all seen it. It is
Yeah,
very
I have.
uplifting.
It's
And where that idea of where people are killed every day in cold blood, that's not literally true, obviously.
Right.
And thank God. But it is a mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It is the mentality of a lot of people that are interviewed in that thing. And that's the problem.
That's the culture.
And how do you stop that? Some of it will be carrots. You get the people before they choose that life. And like you listen to some of these folks, it's incredibly tragic. It's not like they don't think. It's just they feel like this is my world. I'm in this world and I'm going to live it.
Very fatalistic.
Well, what I'm wondering also too, Gibbs Village comes up on the regular and always has. All right. What are we doing there? It's one community. You telling me this many 40, 50 years, you cannot clean up that one community, which I've seen it when we used to live in Highland Gardens. There were some neighborhoods down there that, they finally gave up on.
Yeah.
They finally gave up. Okay. So what are we doing? You either fix it or you've got to eliminate it.
Yeah. Well, and when I said in the piece that I lived in other spots, you helped me move into Capitol Heights. That there were people trying to take back that particular street.
Yep.
Capitol Avenue.
A good
and
job
some
they were
great,
doing, yeah.
great stuff. But that's where my car windows smashed 2-3 times, like broke into. You would hear gunshots, not like right on top of you, but like on the regular.
Oh, on the regular, man. On the regular.
When I lived in Cloverdale, I would hear the same thing. When I lived in Zelda Road, I'd hear the same thing. Forest Hills, where I lived for 2-3 years, you hear the same thing.
I know a lot of inspectors, roof inspectors, and home inspectors. They literally pull bullets out on the regular.
Yep.
And most of the time, they don't even tell the owners anymore. They patch the hole and just move on.
And it really did. It struck me as I was talking to my brother, like, I don't hear that at night now.
When I first moved here in 2015, I lived in Cloverdale for 2 years, and then I'm now out in the country, and the only gunshots I hear there are mine.
Yes, right. That's the same with us. The only gunshots.
I'm sorry.
I know either somebody took a shot at a deer, depending on what time of year it is, or a snake.
Somebody shows up on your property, they picked the wrong place.
Listen, you know,
Troy's like me. Looking for a clean chute, baby.
You haven't
Come
been
on
there
in.
yet. We've got a lodge home, big, but there's about 8 flags, which I forgot my flag today.
I noticed that. I didn't
And
want to go
Robin and his friend said, she goes, whoever pulls up here thinks this is the militia. We're not messing with this place.
Come on in.
It's like the head
Come on in.
You'll be met with a hail of wonderful gunfire.
272-9228. Let's go to Soldier Boy. How you doing?
What's up, gentlemen?
How you doing, Soldier Boy?
What's up, bud?
Well, you sound like your group over there is a militia. I love it.
Yeah, we're good people though.
Oh, that's fine. I never said that.
I just rewatched. Sorry, Soldier Boy. Rewatched Django Unchained.
Yeah,
and
how is the Django?
that opening scene, like I can just imagine who's that stumbling around there in the dark. Anyway.
Well, gentlemen, you know, I mean, it's like, for example, I get my hair cut and my beard groomed in a area on the bypass, okay? and it's an urban guy that cuts my hair and does it because he seems to be able to do a great job. Okay, but you know what? He and his friend owned the place, and you know what they installed last week? When you want to go into the barbershop, you have to come up to the window.
Intercom.
He has to visually see you, hit a buzzer, and let you in.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay. So
Don't blame him.
now I got to hit a buzzer. Now he recognizes me and he lets me in. Not a problem. I don't get a pat down or anything like that because he knows I'm not the kind of person that's going to be bringing that kind of heat, the smoke, as they'd stay on the street. You know, and the mayor, I got to ask him a question. I would challenge him if he wants to make a bet. I can take money right now by noontime tomorrow and go down to Normandale Road or some others, you know, out of the back of a trunk of a Caprice Classic Chevy 4-door and get an AK-47 for $100. Not a problem. I've seen it with my own eyes. I was stopped at a stoplight, and there's like a gun deal was going down. This gun buyback deal. Have you seen some of the weapons they buy back? Oh my God, I think it's Grandpa's gun.
Yeah, they'll take anything.
Yep. I mean, no stock, no barrel, no trigger. They'll buy anything.
Yep, parts is parts.
Parts are parts. Exactly that. I asked the guy, I said, what part do you consider that a whole gun? You know, I mean, you got to have a barrel, a trigger, you know. And he said that. But in that barber shop, for example, he's got bars inside of his barber shop.
Man.
And you know what he tells me too? And you walk in there, let me tell you, it's like going into an armory.
Sure. Where you said on the bypass? Where kind of give me more.
Well, let's see. You know where? Let's see. Oh God, I'm trying to figure it out. You're on the bypass where you like you're going towards Gunner. On your right hand side, there's a couple of floor stores there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about right there. So right across there is a little shopping centers. You know they have a chili place there and everything I'm talking about.
So more north of Atlanta Highway sort of thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it's so funny and interesting that I looked at him. I said, "Has he got enough?" He said, "Man," and he showed me on the side. He's strapped down with a big, and ain't nothing small about that little weapon he's got. Let me tell you, he is not going to play no games.
Good.
He said, I said, "Has it gotten that bad?" I mean, here's my question, guys. If it's gotten that bad, why don't we just freaking leave? Because it sounds like. I asked a friend of mine who's a retired lieutenant colonel, a black gentleman, who's a friend of mine that I went in the military at Gunner. And I asked him about Black Lives Matter and everything. I said, let me ask you a question. And his family's very prominent from the old black family back in Martin Luther King period, you know, and he comes from stories. And I asked him about that, you know, and he says, let me tell you, soldier boy. He says, let me tell you something. I said, what? Where's the outrage of the black community? You know, I mean, no. He goes, you know what? He says, there isn't. That's the problem. There won't be, and you got what you got. And it's not going to change. I don't care who runs that city hall. It's not going to change. Now, I remember, who's the extra police chief that used to be down in the white guy that now he works at the county sheriff's department as a second deputy?
Captain Murphy.
Captain Murphy, yeah. Major Murphy now. It was Major Colonel. Okay. What he used to do, I like what he did. He used to take special units, go into Chisholm, go into certain areas. He would target certain areas and stay there for 3 or 4 weeks and hit them hard. Come in and hit them hard. Okay? Then for a while, did we not have traffic stops? We're pulling guns over and warrants and every other damn thing.
Sure.
Remember that?
Yep.
They bitched and complained. I had an officer pull me over and he says, we're doing insurance checks. We're doing this check and this check and this check. I hope you don't mind. I said, no, sir, I appreciate it. You can come in my neighborhood anytime you want to and check, you know, for weapons and stuff like that. And you got to be proactive. All we're doing is one thing, talking about it, and that's called what? Being reactive. We're just reactive. We're not being proactive.
Well, and here's how bad the situation is. Say all of a sudden they turn over a new leaf. They're like, oh, we need to do more of that approach. You don't have the personnel.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing about it is you say Black Lives Matter. What is it? Let me ask you a question, Joey. I'm interested and Eddie, what the percentage of black on black crime that's murdering and spray and a crime going on is in Montgomery?
Good question. I wouldn't even know where to look anymore.
Would you say 70% of it is? 80%, 90%?
I'd say it's over
Okay.
50, no doubt, but I wouldn't know much more.
Yeah,
Than that.
yeah, there you go. Well, absolutely, you got to say over 50% because over 50% of the population
Yep.
is colored. They're not of Caucasian. Okay, I'm not saying Caucasian people don't commit crime. Absolutely not.
Right.
But I'm saying when I start to look at the numbers, and numbers don't lie, and for the mayor to sit there and tell, I mean, he's got some testicular fortitude. I got to give him props to him. Okay, and for to sit there and tell you, Joe, the crime's down.
Well, we're working on him coming by the studio this week, just trying to find the right time.
Joey, I remember the last time. Did you hear what he said last time when I called him? I talked to him about the census numbers going down. You know what he said? Well, they can live someplace else. I don't care. I don't care.
Nope.
He said he did not care. I mean, what kind of person you'd vote for a man that tells you he don't care about your community? How can you live there? Eddie, I don't know how you sell a house in Montgomery. I don't.
Well,
I give you props, Eddie.
It's all in who you know.
Well, I appreciate the call, Soldier Boy. I got to hit a break, get Michael Cohen on the phone. But thank you, sir.
Right.
See you, brother.
272-9228. If you want to join in, we'll be right back, hopefully with Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. Even in the digital age, radio remains the most powerful reach medium for connecting with audiences. Its ability to engage listeners, reach a wide and diverse audience, and create real emotional connections sets it apart from other forms of media. Radio's adaptability and easy access ensure its continued relevance now and in the future. Want to learn how radio can work for your business? Visit BlueWaterBroadcasting.com. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Wet feet, melting popsicles, puppy prints. Summer is hard on floors, but Pergo Vinyl by Mohawk is kid-proof, pet-proof, and life-proof. And right now during the Pergo event at Prattville Carpet, you can get luxury vinyl, worry-free floors, plus up to $1,000 in rebates on qualifying Pergo products. So gorgeous new floors up to $1,000 back. And did I mention 12 months no interest? Get the details and shop Mohawk's Pergo event now through August 11th at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are y'all?
Pretty good. Life's good. Yeah, life's pretty good.
Yeah. We're not tired of winning yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, what's the score there in terms of winning at Cohen's?
It's 28-0.
Oh.
Had a customer we've been dealing with for, I don't know, probably 40 years, 50 years. Anyway, they called up. They need a new TV for the bedroom. Michael Jackson had a little extra time today. He just swooped in, picking up the TV and the ticket, and going to head out there. Customers, of course, the customers buying sight unseen. And, once again, we're just thankful for the confidence that all these customers have in us, that they can buy something over the phone and you send it out and everybody's happy.
Well, and I completely second that because, my grandfather's bought from y'all for years. My dad has bought from y'all. I've bought from y'all. And I know we're not the only generations of family that continue to come back to Cohen's. That's one of the best testaments, if not the best, you can have as a business, that it's an institution and people trust you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's the confidence that they have and the trust. And of course, and we have confidence in them. But it's all, we always try to do the right thing. We try to give great service. And, we're fortunate that we have the Michael Jacksons of the world so that they can go out there and be the last touch that we have with the customer when they do the install, and give the customer a school on how to operate it, set it up to their cable box, and make everything run smooth.
Well, folks, if you're looking for great products, but really service that makes a difference, is the reason the generations keep coming back to Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Get by there. You can always shop from home at thinkcohens.com. Maybe you are a regular customer. Just call them up, 277-8890. But I really encourage you to stop by 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael and be like, hey, I heard you on that radio show. And Eddie was there that day.
That's right. That's right. It was like it's my birthday.
But bonus points if you tell Michael, I don't know if I like that Eddie Bader's attitude.
I got great attitude. Tell him, Michael. You better tell him.
Yeah, I mean, we're just happy to have any attitude.
Well, I appreciate it, Michael.
Eddie is AWOL most of the time.
That's it. That's it.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Y'all
See you, Michael.
No, folks keep asking me, where's Eddie today? And I'm like,
always be closing.
Like, do y'all not understand?
Got to work it.
I called him solo. He said, I'm tired of him just reading the news to us. I was like, I'm coming in to help.
And most of the time, honestly, I'll be with a client or I'm in the truck. I'm usually screaming the same replies as if I'm here.
Right. Well, and some days on my own, especially if I'm feeling my oats, like I don't even have to read. And those are, I think, some of my favorite rants.
Yeah.
That's fun for 30 minutes.
Then you're like, I got another 2.5 hours.
I don't have 4 more rants in me. Like, that's not going to work that way. Let's go to Junebug real quick. Hey, Junebug.
What's happening, Junebug?
Hey, man. What's up? How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Terry Cole.
Yes.
You don't remember me, probably.
I know who you are. I know who you are. No, stop. Lumen McCreary. I know who Junebug is. There's only one dude I know that's named Junebug. What you doing, bud?
Like that, man? How you know I'm not wanted?
Well, I bet you are. You're still on the run. You're still on the run.
You blew my cover, man.
No, how you been, Lumen?
Everything's good, brother. Everything's
man, good. That's awesome. Glad to hear that.
7 more years.
All right, brother.
But man, I don't think the problem will be solved. Y'all can remember, I came here in '94 from Pensacola, Florida.
Yep.
And if you think about it, how many housing projects do we have left?
I have no idea.
Y'all have no idea?
I
ain't never thought about that? Okay. Joey, how long you been here?
My whole life. I think we only got like one?
No, we got more than one.
We got one.
No, sir. No. We have 1.5. I'll give Patterson Court half.
There you go.
We have Gibbs Village and
Patterson
Court.
Yep.
If you remember back in the 90s, we had about 8.
Okay.
When they closed Smiley Court, Washington Park, Tulane Court, when they closed all that down, they took, and it's sad to say, but a project was built to contain a certain demographic of people. They were poor people, but at the same time, it was a lot of crime in those places. So what happens is once you close those places down and you level them, man, and you take all that demographic of people and you just scatter it all over Montgomery.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Then the whole town is ruined. There's nowhere safe You can go to the east side. You can go to the north side. The west side is already, you know, we can say it's gentrification or however you want to put it. But there's nowhere you can go now to where you can move in Montgomery and be safe. They racing up and down the boulevard. I see it every night. I'm an urban partier, so I've been the top flight rooms, main event celebrations, Sharkies. I mean, I've been all through it, you know, through the whole city for years. But I've never seen it this bad. After 10 o'clock, you better get your butt off of the boulevard, or you're liable to be, you know, messed up. So I don't think we can sit here and talk till we're blue in the face. We can get any mayor you want to get. I don't care if you brought Emmy Farmer himself back. This day and age, they don't care. They have no regard for the law. The police now are scared. If you call them, I tell you what, stand right there at the racetrack and call them about 11 o'clock and see how many show up. They're not going to show up until the bodies drop. Once the bodies drop and it's cleared out, then they're coming. Because if you think about it, these are young kids that they're not police because they want to be. They're police because they have to be.
Right.
These police are no longer tough, hard on crime. They like, look, man, they got good benefits. I'm getting paid. I ain't got to do much. All right, I'll be a police. So they're not going to risk their lives for these guys. You know, they get to shooting like that, they will shoot and kill you.
Yep.
If you show up in the time of fire. They don't care. They don't care. And like Jericho say, man, you have to carry everywhere. Yep. That's the only thing you can do is protect yourself and fight back instead of being
victimized.
You know, you gotta fight back. Yes, you have to fight back. You can't sit here and just rely on the police. And it's sad to say because then you set yourself up to be judged or, you know, all this stuff. But you know, after 10 o'clock, man, just be in the house is all I can tell you.
Lumen, what did we used to say? We said it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6, right?
Carried by 6.
That's
you
exactly
doggone
right.
right, man. You doggone right. You doggone right. So I don't see a solution. There are more single mothers.
Yep.
These boys are not committing to these girls. These girls now are having to get degrees and have a home to house the man. So it used to be the man would go get the house and get everything, and he would bring the woman in with him. It's reversed totally now. So now she's got 3 or 4 kids, no man in the home. She's working 10 to 12 hours to make it. Who's raising the kids? YouTube from the daycare. Yeah. She's not picking them up till 7 o'clock at night. So there's no solution. We can talk to her blue in the face. It's going to hell in a handbasket. It's going to get worse. It will not get better. I don't care who you elect for mayor. It will not get better. It's going to get worse. So just prepare for it.
Well, tough message, but I think one of the truest calls we've had in a long time. And it's great hearing from you, man. Really great.
Yeah, man. Great for y'all, man.
It's good talking to you, buddy. Good talking to you,
man.
brother. All right. He worked for me for about 3.5 years.
He's been calling here.
He's very intelligent.
Yep.
He's hardworking, and he was one of the best folks I had there. So
we got to hit this top of the hour break. Be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Meeting with the head of NATO at the White House today, President Trump threatening to punish Russia with tariffs if there's no deal to end the war with Ukraine within 50 days. Flames roared through an assisted living facility in Falls River, Massachusetts, killing 9 people and trapping residents inside, including some who were hanging out of windows and screaming for help. Authorities say at least 30 people were injured. President Trump will be making an unprecedented second state visit to the UK in mid-September, when he will be hosted by King Charles and Queen Camilla at Windsor Castle. The president will be accompanied by First Lady Melania during that 3-day visit. On Wall Street, the Dow up 67 points down, the NASDAQ ahead 70. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-226-5454. That's 800-226-5454. 800-226-5454.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by McPhillips Schimbaum.
My name is Aaron Luck, a partner with the law firm of McPhillips Schimbaum. If you or someone in your family has been seriously injured by the negligence of someone else, call me directly.
262-1911. Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Today and tomorrow will be the hottest days of the year so far. So we'll stay sunny and hot today and tomorrow with a high in the upper 90s. And the heat index may exceed the 105 danger range both days. Any showers and storms will be very isolated in nature today and tomorrow. But by late Wednesday into Thursday, a disturbance in the Gulf could spike the rain chances. We'll be watching. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASE loan payment from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. YourASECreditUnion.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASE.
1819 News.
The back-to-school sales tax holiday is coming up this weekend, July 18th, and will run for 3 days. Parents of students seeking to save some money on back-to-school clothing as well as school supplies, including even some laptop computers, will be exempted from the state's 4% sales tax at least. Some municipalities and counties will also take part in extending that tax exemption to include local taxes. The sales tax holiday will run until midnight, July 20th. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness license plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
The mayoral race in the city of Mobile is getting closer. The general election voting will take place on August 26th. The mayoral candidates will also take part in a forum this Tuesday, which will be held at the Via Senior Center. That forum starts at 6 p.m. until 7:30. The public is welcome, and no tickets or reservations are needed. The 4 candidates are Spiro Cheriogatis, Barbara Drummond, Connie Hudson, and Paul Prine. The forum is being sponsored by the NAACP, the League of Women Voters, Mobile United, Fox 10 TV News, and Girl Scouts of America. An Auburn basketball player was arrested on Sunday for a DUI. Tahad Pettiford was released on bond. Pettiford then made a statement on social media saying that he has made a serious mistake and takes full responsibility for his actions, which put himself and others at risk. Pettiford then said he's committed to accountability and meaningful positive changes in his life. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store. When you're on your feet all day, foot pain can feel endless and overwhelming. And when your job depends on your feet, it's even more critical to have the right support. Keith's story shows how Good Feet helped him get back on track.
Being a letter carrier and walking 20,000 steps, which equals up to about 10 miles a day, it's tough. I had back problems. That was scary. I've been delivering letters to the Good Feet Store for over 6 years. The people at the Good Feet Store really educated me and finally convinced me to try their arch supports. And lo and behold, I have no more back problems. Where I would be without them, I have no clue.
So if you're a letter carrier like Keith, or anyone who's on their feet for a living, don't wait to find relief. Visit the Good Feet Store for a free fitting and test walk today. The Good Feet Store is in Montgomery, across from the shops at East Chase. Visit goodfeet.com to book your appointment today, or just stop by the store nearest you.
Join us tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30 at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry in the Pepper Tree Shopping Center for our Paw It Forward Pet Drive. Drop off your pet shelter supplies to help the River Region Humane Societies.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader and Troy Carrico here in the studio. I just, now we have a little more time. I think what Junebug was laying down there, where we know your real name, sir. I love that you called him out. That he's laying down. I don't know if I necessarily share the fatalism he has about this, which is not necessarily a wrong opinion. I'm saying that might be a correct prediction. Things aren't going to get better no matter who you elect. But I do think there are practical steps that can be done at the policing level, that can be done in terms of government. And I am a constant believer, if you read any of my writing and you've heard me talk on the radio, that people can make better decisions, even in crappy situations. I that's what drives me up a wall is like, if you're poor, that means, oh, you're going to be XYZ. And it's like, no, some of the best people are the folks that grew up in a situation like that and made the right choices. Is there some luck involved? Of course. There's luck involved all the time.
Also choices.
Yes.
Choices involved.
Amen.
Right. And I hold out hope that it's one thing to say the government needs to do this and the police department needs to do that. Maybe the state government needs to do new laws. And yeah. But at the end of the day, I think often crime is a tragic failure of will, of individual agency. And people can make better decisions. And also, I don't think it's the vast majority of the city. And that's what's interesting is like a small
minority
can cause a lot of
huge.
Issues. Yeah. And I mean, we'll continue to watch this, but it was just fitting after being told crime was down. Well, here comes the hot, long summer. Let's go to Bill. Hey, Bill, how you doing?
What's up, Bill?
Hey, guys. Eddie, I need you to call me a little later.
Okay.
When you get a minute.
Gotcha.
But I kind of disagree with that last caller.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you about something that just happened to us. Me and my wife went and had dinner with some friends out of town, and they live south of Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
So we were coming back into Montgomery. It was about 11 p.m. Had to come down the Southern Boulevard. The red light, we got off of 65, the red light before you get to Baptist South Hospital. A little white Honda Accord with a Chip Ellis tag on the back of it flies around us on the interstate, just about wrecks getting on the southern bypass. At that exit, or at that stoplight, it turned red. They pulled over next to the car as close as they could, within a foot. Window rolls down on both cars. The car in the right lane hands the passenger in that white Honda Accord money, and drugs get passed back. And I could have videotaped. I told my wife, I said, because she was looking down, I said, you just missed a drug deal. And she looked up and she said, what? I said, look how close those cars are together. And about that time, the little white Honda Accord took off. It wasn't a Accord, it was a Civic, white Honda Civic. But I do disagree. The right sheriff, the right police chief, and the right mayor, this city can be turned around. It can be cleaned up. It ain't going to happen in a day because what's happened here hadn't happened in a day.
Yeah.
But it can be fixed.
Well, I appreciate the call, Bill. Appreciate you sharing.
Y'all have a great day.
See you, Bill.
Yeah, and stuff like that goes on. I mean, that's
that's
not just Montgomery either. That's all over the place in this country, for better or for worse. Probably for worse.
Yeah, probably
it goes on.
But it happens. Happens everywhere.
Quite a
Unfortunate. Kind of brazen to do it in the middle of the highway, but
well, and some
It's a
folks
safe place to do it. I guess it's a safe place to do it.
It's interesting. Like, people reach out to me and talk about. A lot of folks keep bringing up like a little switcheroo. Like, take from the Montgomery public school system that's county based and nothing to do with Doug Singleton and the county commission. I'm not saying that. It's okay, Doug, if you're listening. I'm saying that the school board's its own thing, but it's county based.
Yeah.
Have the city take the schools and then have a metro policing situation where maybe you have the sheriff as the head of that metro policing
what
situation.
makes you think the city would do anything better with the schools? Just curious. And if you say, and why after you tell me that, tell me something the city has turned into something good. Give me a positive they've done. Don't throw out the water park.
Well, I mean, it's a nice slide over there.
It is. Especially with the tubes now.
Yeah, especially your rough back needs to be slicked a little bit. Like, get out there.
I don't like the idea of turning things over from one government entity to the other. I think most of them, if not all of them, are failures.
Well,
so why give them the opportunity to fail again?
Well, the basic argument is not so much my faith in the city. It's more like, look at the status quo. One way you can treat a school system like a startup. So scrap it. We're doing a startup from day one. And that does create opportunity for a lot of people who really want to change things to just rebuild and do it a lot better. Because the problem with these public school bureaucracies is as they get decades and decades and decades old, nobody wants to rock the boat. Here's the rules. And the opportunity for change is, so it would create an opportunity for some change. Would it maybe fall apart
But
too?
is all change good change?
I'm not trying to sell you on that. But I'm not the one who necessarily brought all this up. Everybody keeps talking about do that switch. Obviously, I asked the mayor about it. He'd be interested in the schools being better, but he would not be interested in giving up the police department.
Right.
But would it really
Nor
be
taking over the burden of the schools?
Would it really be his choice at the end of the day if people really wanted to make that change?
True.
And that's what I mean. Like, it could be you continue just with the max model. I know they're expanding that out the last legislative session to where this resources and officers can be provided, not just to Montgomery, but it's worked well enough in Montgomery to where, hey, can we copy this in Birmingham, for instance, in Mobile in certain areas? And I think it is largely a good model. Your law enforcement at every level should already be communicating with one another in an effective way, especially in your metro areas.
Right.
Now, should you go ahead and formalize that full on? Maybe it's a big lift, but when you look at the officer levels, it used to be the city was budgeted for 490. Now it's budgeted for 300 something. And
we still can't make that.
What? We're at 200 something. Right. Probably on the low side of 250. Yes, and morale is not great.
Nope.
Like, I would like to talk to the new chief. I've heard he is a very analytical guy, smart enough guy. I like they hired a local fella, but I don't know. I'm in between where Bill was and where Junebug was. I do hold out hope change can happen, but I don't think just electing and having press conferences and that's not going to do it. I think some of this does get solved if the principals of all these, say, different players and departments and institutions get in the same damn room, they have it out with one another, and they get on the same page. It's what Simpler Day said. It needs to be we. Because right now I think there's a bit of it's not everybody in the same boat, rowing in the same direction.
Not at all.
No,
necessarily.
It's disjointed.
And where there has been improvement, it could be even better. And that's just my sense of this, that it's not necessarily even this policy, that policy at this point. It is it's a human thing. And everybody, the leaders involved, need to be on the same page and going in the same direction. But we'll see. I'm not holding out too much hope.
Yeah.
I'm just saving money. Living in my quiet neighborhood. Let's hope it stays quiet.
Helicopter landed that neighborhood today.
Helicopter landed in there?
Somebody sent me a picture of my flight right in front of Atlanta Highway. It looked like Atlanta Highway and
the County Dallas entrance?
Looks like right there. That's what it looked like.
Right in the entrance? That's odd. Or
Right
in the field.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a good spot, actually, to land a helicopter, now that I think about it. I was about to say, what, on the street? Like,
Joey,
it's
out,
Trump,
there, Joey
baby.
out there with some glow sticks.
Y'all ever wanted to be helicopter pilots?
I have flown in. I've flown in many helicopters in combat, and I'll tell you, they're one of the most dangerous.
Too many things going on,
particularly at a high altitude. They're very dangerous.
Too much going on. I've flown several RC that way. There's just too many channels. Too many operators.
And one thing with these campaigns you have, like, I do think it's an honor, and it was a privilege for me to be able to interview Mike Durant several times. But in particular, when we did a deep dive on his history, and I have to say, his book of those events, I told him straight up it was kind of messing with me, because as I'm listening to it, his son, he wants to get back to his name Joey, so he keeps saying my name and all this stuff.
And then Grace Jones,
he's the great American.
The whole Grace Jones thing, Joey?
No, I don't know if I told Troy that story.
Oh boy,
there's
Grace Jones.
So there's a point in the book where he is straight up hallucinating because he's so dog tired and he's being tortured and moved around and all that stuff, to where he's going in and out of reality.
Sure.
And so he goes into, I guess, a dream, and it's some like BDSM thing with Grace Jones leading the way.
Nice.
And so I said to Mike, I'm like, I read your book, listened to your book. I don't want to say anything more, but Grace Jones, huh? And to his credit, he just started laughing his butt off. Like, yeah, you did read them.
It was a coping mechanism.
No, the mind wants what it wants. Like, you never know. Anyway,
that's funny.
Yeah, I can't imagine like the helicopter thing. Like, learning to be a plane, like a pilot in a plane. It's just the helicopter seems a different.
Whenever I got on a helicopter, particularly in Afghanistan, not so much in Iraq, because of the altitude, I would always look in the cockpit and see what the rank was on him. And I'd ask him, how many hours you got in that bird? How many you got here in country? Because a lot of those Blackhawks that we used, the problem is you need to have a dual turbine system for higher altitude, which are only just about a handful of helicopters that can do that safely. So, a lot of times these guys would be loaded down and they just bite the side of the mountain, man, trying to climb. It's hard.
Anyway, let's go back to the phones real quick. Line 1, you're on there. Who's this?
This Jim.
Hey, Jim. How are you doing?
Joe, it's time to make that move, buddy, to Targa County or Elmore County. I'm just telling you.
Well, I mean, Autoga, Elmore. I mean, I could go out like the Pike Road way.
You should see they're widening McQueen Smith Road now. It's a 4-lane. They're going to widen the 4-lane. They put in more lights now because the steady stream of cars coming 31 out of Montgomery to shop and eat out in Prattville is unbelievable. It's just people just. But as long as you've got Joe Reed's son in there, he's got about the sorriest mayor. I lived in Montgomery since '84, so when I 84, sorriest mayor I've ever seen. I have to go to Montgomery one time. I have a doctor at Baptist South, and now I found out he's going to open up an office in Wetumpka, so I won't be going there anymore. But I had to go there a few weeks ago. I'm coming. I get off there on the Southern Boulevard. It looks like Beirut with all the burned down buildings and stuff. The grass in the medium is like 3 or 4 feet high. Can you imagine traveling and getting off there?
I never go to that area. I never have a reason to.
Yeah, and then you got the boondoggle whitewater deal that somebody's buddy made a bunch of money off of. It's just bleeding money out of Montgomery. I mean, can you point to one thing that Stephen Reed has done positive for Montgomery? Name one thing. You can't. And that's your problem right there. He's no more interested in it. And I feel sorry for the people over there. I lived there for 30 years. I couldn't take it anymore.
When did you move? What was the last straw?
I moved in 2005.
Okay.
I've been here 20 years. And Prattville's not perfect, and I know it's not as big as Montgomery and everything, but I guarantee you, there's a policeman that lives right across the street. I'm looking at his car right here.
And I guess that was
in my neighborhood.
Bobby Bright was mayor then?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. When I first, yeah. I guess that's what it was in 2005. Of course, when I moved there in 84, it was Emory. That's a whole different deal there. But In Prattville, if I shot a gun off in my backyard, there would be a cop in my front yard in about 3 minutes. I mean, that's, you just, and like I said, you know, it's a smaller city, but it's just, it's something about efficiency. We have a great mayor that, you know, and it's just, I just feel sorry for the people of Montgomery. I mean, it's not going to get any better until you get another mayor in there. I mean, that's the whole problem right there.
Well, I think about all the folks that hop on air with me, and I'm looking at two of them right here. I think of Craig. I think of a few folks that stop by. I think I'm the last holdout actually living in Montgomery.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you look at most of the people on the TV stations over there, they live in Prattville. Especially, I know WSFA. I think if every one of them live in this area up here, or Elmore County. It's just, I hate when I have to go over there. I'm just afraid every time I have to stop at a stoplight, that, you know, somebody's going to be shooting something, or somebody's, when you're going 85 miles an hour and running me off the highway, driving down, you know, you go down 85, it's like, good grief. It's people driving crazy. And I never see a cop anymore.
Yeah.
When I go, it's just,
no, it's very, I stick to my routines, but, and I don't see too much in my routines, but they're limited by design. But I appreciate the call, Jim. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you. I'll think about the move. I'll think about it. But, you know, and I've been trying to get out more. Like went over to Vintage Year where somebody had their burger night. That was great. Cloverdale's still a beautiful area.
I tried to get you out last night.
Yeah, I know you tried, but Sunday's my riding.
Yeah, but you weren't riding at I don't
Sundays
think you,
is
I don't
riding
think you
day.
were riding. I don't
Mondays
think
is
you were riding
I'm
at
washing my hair day.
1800 at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I was.
How long did it take you?
It takes me a second. I chisel things out.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I got done at about 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, next time.
Yeah, and then I got
Best of luck.
got some pasta.
Ooh.
And
then that you were done.
Angel hair pasta was all right. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. But, you know, I know there are people out there that are trying also to make Montgomery work and go in the right direction. So in all due respect, Jim, you moved 20 years ago. And I'd imagine there was good reason, and God love you for it. And I know he is certainly not alone. But there are a lot of folks that have made the choice to come back. Like the guy I went to go get that burger with, he moved back here from Oklahoma City and is trying to raise his family here. And him and the wife and the kids. Austin Baranco could pretty much live and work anywhere, but he, as he was talking about, he loves Montgomery. And in many ways, I think back on my days growing up, I guess, in the enclave that is the Catholic community here. And it's good memories, and there's still good folks there doing a lot of good things. But the general trend is not good, and it's not necessarily getting better anytime soon. And when I do look at all these government ideas, I'm like, really? That's what we're going with? That's the next step? Okay. I don't know if y'all saw, not to like keep pouring gasoline on the fire. Did you see what Craig Monger wrote up at 1819 News? Came out today?
I have not.
About the fountain?
Yeah, I saw it.
The headline is
federal funding. Possibly.
Could Montgomery's temporary BLM fountain mural threaten federal funding?
Oh, interesting. I have to read that.
Yeah. Trump's administration has taken aim at governments for using public works for political messaging, especially when that messaging is seen as progressive or quote unquote woke. Huh. So it's really a lot of backstory that we already know. I'm trying to get to the Trump part. At the beginning of July, U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy launched a nationwide roadway safety initiative to prioritize investments that improve mobility and safety on roadways. In a letter to every governor, Secretary Duffy asked that their states participate in the Federal Highway Administration's safe arterials for everyone through reliable operations and distraction-reducing strategies. So they came up with the acronym Safe Roads Initiative. Good God. The program targets non-freeway arterial roads where more than half of U.S. roadway deaths occur. Duffy also noted in his letter that roadways, intersections, and crosswalks need to be kept free from distractions. This includes political messages of any nature, artwork, or any other content that detracts from the core mission of driver and pedestrian safety. Roads are for safety, not political messages or artwork. Today, I'm calling on governors in every state to ensure that roadways, intersections, and crosswalks are kept free of distractions. Far too many Americans die each year to traffic fatalities take our eye off the ball. And I think that's like how much traffic's down at Court Square.
Not a lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Well, maybe if we change the fountain around, we could get more traffic.
Honestly, I had to go down there for the piece I wrote because I'd been down there like at the Prevail coffee place to meet somebody. And I didn't even think about it. Didn't even look down. So, I mean, it's still there, though.
It is.
Anyway, we'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This is David Ernest from the Health and Wealth Show. We like to cut up and have fun, maybe poke a little fun at some politicians, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. One thing we do take seriously is your personal finances and your plans for retirement. You can tell by listening, we're a little different. Yeah, we like to have a good time on the radio, but we're dead serious about your financial future and helping you achieve your goals. At Ernest Financial, we're committed to giving you the attention you need. We don't treat you like a number. You're way more important to us. At Ernest Financial, it's about helping you today and preparing you for tomorrow. People call us who are on the verge of retirement, and they know they need a plan for the future. No matter where you are in life, Ernest Financial will help guide your every step towards retirement. Give us a call and let us show you what our individual customer attention can do for your future.
Concerned about your retirement? Call David Ernest toll-free at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Let's face it, what our customers say about our business is the most important advertising tool. Here at Adams Drugs, we love our customers. We're here with Al and Amy Steinecker, Adams Drugs customers. Amy, please tell us how easy it was to transfer your prescriptions to Adams Drugs from the big box store.
It was one of the easiest things I've ever done. I went into the pharmacy on Vaughn Road and spoke with the pharmacist and told him we had not been happy where we'd been and would love to transfer our prescriptions. And he said, I'll be happy to call them. And that was that. And now when I call, I just say I need to have a prescription filled. And it's just that simple.
Al, what has your customer service been like at Adams Drugs?
It's amazing. You walk in, you're not standing in a line. They speak to you, call you by name, and say, what do you need today, Al or Mr. Steinecker? It's wonderful. It doesn't get any better.
Please come into any Adams Drugs location and let us earn your business. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest you. Adams Drugs is your independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather.
Hi, everybody. Today and tomorrow will be the hottest days of the year so far. So we'll stay sunny and hot today and tomorrow with a high in the upper 90s. And the heat index may exceed the 105 danger range both days. Any showers and storms will be very isolated in nature today and tomorrow. But by late Wednesday into Thursday, a disturbance in the Gulf could spike the rain chances. We'll be watching. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Hey, this is Jody Pangle with Peaches and Clean Powerful Carpet Cleaning. Have you been putting off your home carpet cleaning for a while? Give us a call at Peaches and Clean so we can bring your carpeting back to life. Check us out online at peachesandclean.com.
There's no clean like Peaches and Clean. The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting and their River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you with that roof of yours. Now, you should get that roof inspected on a regular basis. If not, then you're probably going to have a small problem that festers for a while and becomes a big problem. And not only is it expensive just to fix it straight up, say you've been paying those insurance premiums, and now the insurance company's saying, yeah, you were negligent. You didn't look into this for 10 years, and so we're not going to cover it. Avoid that catastrophe in the first place. You just get River Region Contracting out there to help you in the first place and get them on a regular schedule of inspections. Could be you just get on an annual inspection schedule. And the great news is their inspections are always free. Their River Region Contracting, as are their estimates. So if they do find a problem, they'll write up that estimate for free. It's accurate. They show up on time. They know how to get the job done well. And they're insurance specialists.
Right.
So they can walk you through that claims process, save you a lot of headaches, make it an easy and swift experience. So again, that's River Region Contracting. Call up Todd Clark and his team today at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fell on the radio, sent you. So a lot to kick around. We're seeing, Elon, despite all the fallout with Trump, gets the $200 million deal with the Pentagon for them to use the Grok AI services. I will say for my own purposes, Grok 4 is better. It's amazing.
It is.
It's kind of incredible how good this stuff is.
It's a big upgrade from the previous version.
And I imagine what the Pentagon's getting is better than what the average.
I'm sure it is. It's enterprise. It's an enterprise system, I'm sure.
And we don't really have time to get into it, but Biden did a whole defense deep dive on the Autopen with the New York Times. He just made it a heck of a lot worse. Said he confirmed every single pardon orally.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I had that Beavis Butthead moment. You and me both. But only 25 real signatures would have been needed for these things, and yet they used the Autopen on it. But I orally approved them.
Well, at this point, what are you going to say?
Oh, that's just.
It doesn't look good, does it?
No, it does not.
In good news, Tom Homan says that ICE has rescued about 10,000 missing kids.
That's great.
That's good.
Which is crazy. Earlier today, Trump hosted the UN Secretary General, Ruta or whatever, who called him, and Daddy had to use some strong language. Daddy.
You see the amount of Chinese that ICE picked up over the weekend, like 133.
Yeah. And Trump, in that meeting with the Secretary General of NATO, said 100% tariffs on Russia of no peace deal within 50 days. As more weapons will be sent to Ukraine, but there's a system where the European allies in NATO will be paying for those weapons. So that makes a lot of sense. But I don't want to do a deep dive in all these things. I want to give the floor here to my cohort.
My esteemed colleague.
Yeah, let's go to Troy Carrico. This is the op-ed that'll be coming out tomorrow afternoon at 1819news.com.
That is correct. The unmatched legacy of Greco-Roman Western Christendom. Take up the white man's burden. Send forth the best ye breed. Go bind your sons to exile to serve your captives' needs. To wait in heavy harness on fluttered folk and wild. Your new caught sullen peoples, half devil and half child. Rudyard Kipling, The White Man's Burden. And so for your listeners' edification, that was written in the 1890s, right when the Spanish-American War was going on. And Rudyard Kipling was an unapologetic imperialist who believed that America should have taken, like they did, the Philippines, Guam, Okinawa, without any hesitation to continue to bring civilization to some of the less fortunate areas of the world. So that's where that came from. There's but one group of peoples, one segment of our collective humanity, and one faith system that has shaped the world in unparalleled fashion. That is the juggernaut of Greco-Roman, European, Western Christendom. Western Christendom isn't just a chapter in history. It's the definitive compendium of human progress. From science to governance, from art to warfare, no other people or religion have contributed more to the trajectory of mankind. To say otherwise is to ignore the evidence etched in every cornerstone of the modern world. Let's start with the raw power of innovation. The Chinese may have stumbled upon gunpowder and used it to light up the sky, but it took a Westerner, an Occident, as they refer in the West, as Marco Polo, to see the potential and bring it to the West, where then it was promptly weaponized into tools that reshaped warfare and built empires. The Chinese used gunpowder for firecrackers. Christendom turned it into cannons and muskets, instruments of conquest and defense that redefined global power. This isn't just about tactical firepower. It's about a strategic vision. So much for the Great Leap Forward. They're still trying to catch up. Western Christendom didn't just inherit ideas, it forged them into tools that changed history. The printing press, born in Gutenberg's Germany, spread knowledge like wildfire, fueling the Renaissance and Reformation. The steam engine, perfected by James Watt, powered the Industrial Revolution. From the compass to the computer, the fingerprints of Western civilization Christendom are on every significant advancement. Modern science, yes, even AI, owes it to its modern form to this legacy. The scientific method, formalized by men like Francis Bacon and Galileo, emerged from a Christian worldview that saw the universe as orderly, created by a rational God. This wasn't an accident. This is providential design. Islamic scholars may have preserved Greek text, but it was Christendom that built universities, churches in places such as Oxford, Cambridge, Paris, where inquiry and logic flourished. Copernicus, Newton, and Einstein worked within the framework, unraveling the cosmos while others merely gazed at the stars. The data speaks for itself. Over 80% of all Nobel Prize winners in science hail from the Western nations, mostly rooted in Christian heritage. This is a definitive example of my unique belief in cultural ascendancy theory, not to be confused with Marxist cultural hegemony. Essentially, it is my belief that certain national archetypes, with similar cultural characteristics, ascend to greatness naturally. Governance, too, bears Christendom's stamp. The Magna Carta, penned in 1215, laid the groundwork for individual liberty and limited government. The U.S. Constitution, inspired by Christian principles of justice and human dignity, became the gold standard for democratic governance. Compare this to the stagnation of imperial China, now communist China, or the tribalism of pre-colonial Africa. While others clung to despotism or chaos, Christendom birthed systems that balanced order and reform and freedom. The concept of human rights, now global, sprang from Christian theology, which held that every soul is equal before God. No other religion or people group is articulated with such clarity of this or impact. Art and culture, the West cathedrals from the Vatican, Notre Dame, and St. Peter's are just a few that stand as testaments to a faith that inspired beauty on an unmatched scale. Michelangelo, Bach, and Shakespeare created works grounded in Christian themes of redemption and transcendence, resonate across centuries and continents. Compare this to the repetitive motives of other traditions. None have the depth or global reach of Western Christendom's cultural output. Even in warfare, Christendom's influence is undeniable. Beyond gunpowder, it was European ingenuity that birthed the naval fleets that mapped the globe. Alfonso de Albuquerque, the Lion of the Seas, or for others, the Portuguese Mars, a Portuguese badass, which we will discuss in a separate piece next time, set the table for Columbus, Magellan, and Drake, all products of Christian Europe that operated in the world to exploration and trade. The age of the sail wasn't just about conquest. It spread ideas, goods, and progress. Yes, it had flaws such as slavery and colonialism, but it also laid the foundation for a connected world. The abolition of slavery, driven by Christian reformers like Wilberforce, was another Western triumph. No other civilization has so fiercely confronted its own sins. Christian's importance cannot be understated. It's not about supremacy for its own sake, but about recognizing the undeniable. From the Roman roads to the internet, from democracy to the moon landing, Greco-Roman Western Christendom has been the engine of history. Others contributed. Nobody denies the Chinese invented paper or Indians gave us zero. but it was Christendom that took these sparks and set the world ablaze. The evidence is overwhelming. The modern world, with all of its advancements, is unthinkable without the West Christian's foundation. To deny this is to demonstrate a mind untrained, a wit dim, and an ignorant of obvious empirical truths. Further, it allows the losers to rewrite history for the sake of feelings. Historically, the winners get to write history. Now we've had let the ash in the trash. Losers use revisionism. What we need is gratitude for a legacy that lifted humanity from darkness. Western Christendom isn't just a contributor. It's the cornerstone and the role model for the rest of the world and its peoples. Let's honor that legacy, not by resting on laurels, but by carrying its torch forward with pride, principles, and purpose for a primacy and our manifest destiny. Thy will be done.
Hear, hear. Well said. What a sprint through history. And a good
so much to talk about, you know?
Well, and there, it's fascinating. You know, have you ever read or even seen the guy named David Berlinski?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And as you're reading that, it brought up his meditation on the idea that the Western Christendom commits suicide in the world wars.
Right.
And that today, despite the continuing progress technologically and in governance, all these things, I think everybody's still trying to figure out what the heck happened there.
I agree.
Now, you could give a theological explanation. I thought it very interesting the Pope chose Pope Leo because the last Pope Leo had a vision at the end of his life and serving as a pope that the 20th century would be the devil's century.
Right.
Like the devil would have his way with the world. But I think there are a lot of folks still wondering, okay, we are the engine of history in many ways. So how do we not make that same mistake again? And I think that has led people to be hesitant to actually double down on some good ideas.
I think you're right.
But it's still also a problem. Like you kind of look at that time period and go, what the heck happened to us? Because especially if, say, somebody's writing something like that in like 1890, like it's like we're going to have world peace. Everything's going to be great. Like, look at how wonderful.
Yeah.
And then things just go to hell real quick. So
I think a lot of it is in human nature is we can look back and recognize things posteriorly, but one of the problems we had, and I've said this before and bemoaned it on this show and in some of my writings about realpolitik, we failed to grasp the mantle we needed to after World War II specifically, to set the standard for a new, not a new world order, but a orderly world order where there was some trade-off in responsibilities, regions, hegemony, all this responsibility, and we didn't do that. And we caused I believe, asymmetric, we talked about it at the break, an asymmetric world, which is much more dangerous than it was, before that. So,
well, good stuff. Folks, you want to read it yourself? It'll be out tomorrow afternoon at 1819news.com. My piece will be dropping in the AM.
Yes.
Let's while we got time, quickly go to Papa B.
Wow, what a great article. That is fantastic.
Thank you.
Actually, those concepts are severely under attack and have been for some time now. And it kind of might help to figure out, well, what is the nature of the attack? Why is it being so vigorously assaulted? There are, I guess, a variety of reasons. I'm not going to try to dwell on one or two, but just the fact that it is under assault is kind of remarkable. You see a lot of these other cultures. Well, is it a Me Too kind of thing? Is there a sense of envy? Is there a sense of, well, these, principles and, all of the Western civilization, we just hate it so much? I mean, what do you think? What do you think is the nature of the reason there?
One of the things, that's a great question. And as I was writing this, Joey and Papa B and Eddie, one of the things I came to apparent to me was, is this because of a secular nature of man now, a much more secular society we have, technology advancing, God's been removed from the equation in a lot of things. And I'm not going to pontificate. I'm simply going to say that the mindset, you have to understand this article I wrote, Joey, definitely comes from that manifest destiny idea, like Teddy Roosevelt, that God destined us for greatness as men and women and as our society. But I think, Papa B, to answer you shortly, I just think there's a disconnect at the human level of today compared to back then. That's just my thoughts, but I don't know. What do you think, Joey?
There's a desire among too many to say, okay, well, let's get along, instead of maybe acknowledging, look, these are where our successes have come from. Why would we want to try to adopt or even entertain something else that we know is a failure elsewhere? You know, I don't see why. Well, I mean, people want to try to get along with other people.
Sure.
I get that.
Sure.
But there's a point in time when you got to say, look, what you're saying doesn't work, pal. We know this works.
Yep.
What you're saying doesn't work. Therefore, we're leaving it in the dustbin. So anyway.
Thanks.
Well, all right, guys. Well, listen, thanks a lot for letting me call in.
Thank you. Thank you, Papa B.
No, and I brought up World War II and Berlinski because I think there are a lot of folks that the lessons they take out of this are vague, but they're kind of like, well, you can't be like too nationalist or you end up like the Nazis. And that's to put a little more meat on the bone of the problem. Yeah. You take one of the most brilliant, successful, wealthy cultures in Europe, and they end up being that barbarous, almost satanic cult called the Nazis. Mm-hmm. And so people go, how the hell does that happen? Now, there's a lot of explanations.
Sure.
In particular, you printed way too much money, hyperinflation. You destroy the society, essentially. Mm-hmm. But I think there are a lot of folks that, out of that sort of lesson, say, well, don't be Hitler. Don't be too proud of the history. Don't lean too much into authority, these sorts of things. But the irony of that is that even the biggest, like, Marxist, lefty, commie, whatever word you want to use, they end up just recreating their own authority structure. Mm-hmm. And often it ends up just being as awful. Look at Stalin, look at Mao, look at the other extreme there. Yeah. I think there is if you go back to like the American founding, we are a common sense nation. We are a common sense, very Aristotelian, very practical nation, along with the appeal to heaven. It's that combination and where they're coming out of the Glorious Revolution, all the wars. Right. They don't want all the religious wars anymore. Sure. But they still want to be their North Star. And the main question is, with that as our North Star, what works?
Right.
And I think that's the simple way I would put it.
I think that's very well put.
What works? And to your point in your piece, a lot of these accomplishments were men who practically figured out what worked.
That's right.
And while having that North Star. So it's a big issue that we're not going to solve in just a few minutes here. In fact, I got to hit a break. But first, all this talk of history and political news and what's happening in Montgomery makes me hungry.
I know where we're going.
Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. Man, that place is so good, folks.
Yes, it is.
In fact, you want to make yourself really hungry? I could do it right now. Go to smokehousebbq.com and you can look at the menu. But the first thing that comes up on that photo gallery is that amazing Southern breakfast. And I want to eat the screen. Those cheese grits look so good. And I'm reminded that they give you some one side of bacon, some 3 big old slices of bacon, thick sliced, delicious stuff. Of course, they also always have a meat and 3 for lunch. And don't get me wrong, that dinner is fantastic. Like, get down on some ribs, have a beer or 2, listen to some great live music from a local artist. They're not doing that on Friday and Saturday nights. So whether you stop by for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can't go wrong with Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. And hey, they're back to the original recipes that made them famous all those years ago. Stop by, see Chris, Celeste, the entire team, Main Street in Millbrook, and be sure to tell them that Joey and the team sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Is foot pain holding you back? Visit the Good Feet store for a free personalized fitting and test walk.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I'm good. Sitting at my desk working on a claim for a customer.
Nice.
And this is something we don't talk a lot about, claims. So I did a new construction. He's actually for a friend of mine owns a window and door place. And he called me up this morning and said, Ray, please don't hate me. We hate the color of the steps because they put one color upstairs in the bonus room and down the steps and a different color in the bedrooms.
Yep.
But you can actually see the bedroom and the step together. Does that make sense?
Yep. Same picture.
I said, well, there's only a couple of things we can do. We can swap the carpet on the steps, but it's going to look odd upstairs at the bonus room. And they're like, don't see the bonus room. That's for my husband. I could care less.
Nice.
Yep.
I said, okay. So, but here's what we don't talk about is how do we pay for that? Whose fault is this, right? I said, but fortunately we have with Mohawk, and this is why I'm preaching Mohawk every day on here. There's a color satisfaction warranty. So if you're not happy with the color, they will replace the carpet for free one time.
Wow. That is good.
That's awesome.
That is really good.
And then all of a sudden it makes everybody extremely happy. Oh my word. I cannot believe, are you serious? Because she thought she was fixing to spend another $1,100.
Yeah.
Over that.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of the bill, the last thing you want to do is spend any more money because you're sick of it.
Yep.
So there again, that's another reason to use Prattville Carpet because we've got you all the way through. And if you're not happy with the color, if it's Mohawk, then no harm, no foul. Let's replace it. Just that simple.
Really is. And that number's still 285-8117?
It is 285-8117. Hey, Joey, I've got 5 dogs and 3 cats in the house right now. Emma came to town.
Man, you got your hands full, but that's a fun sort of trouble to have right there.
Do you mind taking a couple just for the rest of the week?
No, my grandfather doesn't like animals.
Oh, he's on, Grandpa.
Yeah.
I try to get Dad to take all 5 of them and the 3 cats and said, hey, it will teach you how much peace and quiet you actually have in your house. And I don't even want to talk about the backyard.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Well,
problem.
Oh, I love Emma, and I was so excited about seeing her come, but I'm so excited about seeing her go now.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well,
First, you can't get here quick enough, guys. So, but hey, if y'all need a floor, call us 285-8117.
and be sure to tell him when you call him up that you heard Ray on the radio with Joey, Eddie, and Troy.
Guys, have a great day.
You too, buddy.
Did we learn anything today?
Troy's a pretty good writer.
Yeah, we learned that.
Yeah,
Eddie, I got to keep up with the Clarks, not the Joneses.
That's
right?
that's
The
good though.
Clarks,
That
so-
means he's keeping you on your toes, right?
He's, you know what? He's younger than I am, and
Yep.
I've got to up my game. Sort of like Craig Monger calling me, texted me yesterday. He goes, "Hey, I realized something. I'm horribly not ready for combat." He said, I had my body armor on and I had a carbine, and I chased the bear around." And
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, we
just
gotta
like,
talk
"That's
about
the first
Craig's
time
bear."
Craig.
Yeah.
Craig. I go, how do you know it was a bear? Scat? What? He goes, I saw it. I saw
There
the
we go.
bear.
And he wasn't hallucinating.
He's
According
not-
to the Facebook post,
Love
he
me some
swears he
Craig.
wasn't hallucinating.
Love me some Craig.
We're definitely going to talk to him about that
Yeah.
bear. I'm like, what are you doing chasing a bear?
Like I said,
What else do you do with a bear?
Dude, let it be.
Well, you got to go hang
You
out
let
with
the
him,
bear
make
be.
sure he's a bear.
Yeah,
Confirm he is a
it's
bear.
like- well, it's like the dog that catches the car. What
Yeah,
does
what do
it
you do now?
What does it do that?
All these kids raised on Disney.
right
So, it's just like Baloo. It's like that Baloo is going to eat you. Anyway, we got to get out of here. Happy hour with Greg Beadle. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1.